Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Triangle Table Tavern. It's good to see you again. It's a little cold and windy outside right now, so hop on in, pull up a chair, relax. The tavern special is sangria, so you guys can go ahead and pour yourselves a cup. It's downstairs.
If there's any left.
Help yourself to the fruit then inside the bowl.
We have a couple little announcements for you guys. The biggest one being the D6 that you could win tonight. At some point, we're going to basically during the break time be raffling this little guy off, this particular one. If we can have it go be blessed by the cast themselves, if you wish.
It's real.
Ooh, does everybody get a side? Okay, never mind.
I call six.
All right,
I call
fine.
six.
He has all of them.
Oh, it's heavy.
So anyway, guys, in order to get
Oh,
the
it's so
dice,
nicely
you're going to
made.
have to be active in chat, and by doing so is you kind of type in chat. That's what active means. Yeah, at some point we'll be drawing that in the break time, so look out for that.
It's a good one. I rolled 6.
It's very lucky. Very lucky. It's also loaded.
What? Really? Wow.
Just saying.
It's not
666. You know this die is worth it.
We need to not say that the whole satanic panic thing was
Let me
real.
roll.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Don't ruin it.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
He ruined it.
It was a 6.
No,
It was a 5. So
It was
it's
a
not
9.
loaded. There you go.
Oh, I got a 1.
All right.
All right, so I'm
Rock.
going to go ahead and introduce the cast members themselves, starting with Kristen to my immediate left.
Hi, I'm Kristen. I play Hyllenae Leodon. She is a very tall half-elf paladin who is about to meet a shaman. So this is going to be exciting.
Love story for the ages.
Yes.
My name is Guillermo Dorado. I am playing Donash, a drow monk. Every time. Should I just talk like that for the rest of the time? It's
Yes,
okay.
please. Be
My name is Donash. I play a drow monk. I came from the Underdark, like all drow do. Now I live on Tremahia's sunny soils, looking for ale and friendship, I guess. Sure, I don't know. You'll find out.
Hi, I'm Katarina Waters. I play Amalthea, a half-elf ranger with a bit of a troubled past, but here I am doing good for the world.
And I am Amber. I play Trixie, the half-elf rogue who likes shiny things and sometimes takes them.
And I'm Adam, and I play the human sorcerer bounty hunter, Mr. Jingles, that travels the world with my sidekick to right the wrongs and capture villains from corner to corner. She doesn't know she's my sidekick yet. And yeah,
With a brand new parasol.
now with a brand new fabulous
Able to
parasol.
cast light on the
It's
the
beautiful.
All right, so let me go ahead and clue you guys in on the story thus far. Last episode, they had all woken up in the king's, basically his personal housing. They had woken up and they went over to the blacksmith, and he led them over to the company known as Skull Company, a band of adventuring dwarves that basically were the king's right-hand soldiers. They led him through the mines into eventually coming up to a point called the Auxiliary Refinery, and there they fought a displacer beast, defeating it, having to part ways with the dwarves themselves, and they found themselves inside of two ore carts that they decided would be a great idea to push along and have.
Decided is a strong word.
Yeah.
It was a good idea. That was fun. We barely got hurt.
Yeah.
You guys cut a lot of travel. I'll tell you that.
3 sessions, in fact.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Just like Dragon Ball Z charging us
Yeah.
with 3 seconds.
So
Yeah,
they took the 2 ore carts and they sped along down through the mountain, eventually arriving at the entrance of one of the mines, and they tumbled out, not able to slow down the carts themselves, and they there met a griffin, who they were able to basically just kind of shoo away and didn't really have to battle it. They
Chancla.
and they walked behind the waterfall that was near the entrance there. They found a tunnel back there, a roughly hewn passageway underneath the mountain, leading over to the other side, and there they found goblins who were building a dam. They were still in the final stages of it, but you could see that they was probably around 3/4 of the way full now, causing the water pressure of that river to slow down, to be diminished by a great quantity. This same water source was the one that was the main primary water source for the dwarves and their forges and the water mills. So they're here essentially about to talk to a potential leader of the clan of the goblins, and that is ultimately where we pick up right now. They had walked into the encampment led by two goblins who didn't seem to pay them a whole lot of mind. The goblins currently outnumber them 200 to 1 as they enter the very, very center.
Never
so
told me the
tiny,
odds.
though.
As they enter the very, very center.
And they have the little cute things, the little slave things.
Well,
They
not
do.
Wait,
They're
hold on a
slaves.
second.
We'll
I know-
free them. We'll liberate them.
Okay.
Turn them into pets.
I have a
You know
question. As
they're
soon as you
slaves.
finish your intro, I have a question.
Okay, Hermione.
Spew.
The,
Point spew.
They walk into the center of camp, and one of the goblins that was there escorting them to the center walks into the very, very center of the long hut, which held which was the home of the great shaman there.
Not to be
The
confused with the Great
doors-
Showman.
The doors opened up, the leathery flaps of the long hut opened up, and a platform being held by four little tiny, which you don't know yet, little tiny creatures, the little tiny goblinoid type creatures, green skinned. On top of that platform was the shaman. Just then, a goblin walks out with a horn. And it echoes throughout the valley, down behind you, and then also in front of you. The shaman comes out. He's still smaller than most of the goblins, but still has a certain poise to him. He seems a little bit taller only because of his headdress. He's got random sticks and bones hanging off of it, feathers and pieces of like dead flesh that are just kind of hanging off of the spines and whatnot.
So
So
majestic.
he's like Radagast.
Yeah.
In a
There's a
sense-
bird
in a
nest
sense-
in there.
It's very similar. In fact, the very, very top of his headdress kind of mimics the same symbol as the pole in the very center of camp, where you saw the cauldron and the wooden the buildup of the firewood around it. The cauldron was empty; it didn't have water even. So the great shaman walks out, and he holds his hands open to both of you, holding his staff in the other. He looks at all of you up and down, and then he speaks. Why is it that you have come here? Do you threaten our people?
I lay down all of my weaponry and take off my helm.
I unclench my fists.
I opened my
That would be
parasol.
I flash a smile.
And I kneel before him and I say, we don't come here to threaten you. We are here in peace. We are here to talk about possibly modifying the dam that you're building and sharing that water source.
A great furrowed brow.
Sometimes foreplay is always best. Hyllenae.
Oh, you are just like the dwarves that come before you. And he points out into the field beyond, where the valley continues on, and you can see a number of crops being grown, various corns and tomatoes and whatnot. And you can see workers out there, a bunch of goblins, but also dwarves, bound by chains. Everyone go ahead and roll a perception.
Oh, hey! Stop copying
Ho!
me.
Hey, ho!
Natural 20.
We just won the session, guys.
Natural
That's
20.
15.
Okay.
16.
21.
Okay.
Just wasted our good
23.
roll.
23. Okay. So for you three, Hyllenae, Jingles, and Trixie, you see beyond the valley down there, towards the very, very edge of it, and you can see a lumbering mass moving towards you, but so far away you can't really truly tell its form. but it's large.
It is moving.
It's moving. The shaman turns his finger back towards all of you. They serve a new purpose now, these dwarves.
By choice?
No. They too wanted to alter our plans.
Well, Sisa, maybe you hadn't quite, misunderstood. We haven't come here to necessarily change what you are doing. We've come here to find out exactly what it is that you are doing and whether perhaps we saw that there was another water source. Maybe there's a way that you and the dwarves can live peacefully together.
His brow unfurls a little bit, and he kind of opening his hand towards the dam. That dam will help us irrigate our crops. We only need it to fill up to the level that we have it at currently. It may take 1-2 more weeks, and then the dwarves will have their water back.
Problem solved.
All right.
So I'm not entirely certain, but there is one little teensy matter that concerns me, and that is that thing. And I would like to point to the giant lumbering thing in the background.
He looks back, and you see a number of the goblins that are surrounding him also, with spears and bows and arrows and swords and shields and various other weapons and accoutrements. They all kind of eagerly try to peer off into the distance, and a few of them begin to, wide-eyed, get their weapons ready and their spears and their bows and arrows and begin to arch them up high up.
Whoa.
This lumbering mass is getting closer, yet it's still a good 200 yards out.
So
And you can tell that it is very, very large.
So that's not with you guys.
The shaman looks back at you. He goes down to where one of the other goblins are, and he kind of whispers in his ear, and they whisper back and forth.
You seem distressed.
He grabs a horn off of his hip and just...
Again with the horn.
Okay, so I'm putting my helm back on, and I'm grabbing all of my weapons, because that does not sound good.
Everyone roll initiative.
Oh my god.
If it wasn't
Whoa.
for their damn pageantry
That
of
was
horns,
quick.
we might not have to worry about
right.
this. I will.
That's that could have been better.
Is this one of Adam's infamous upside down sixes? Nope.
It's a right side up six.
Donash, can you lift up your
Yes, I
book
can.
just so you can end that one too, if you could?
Ooh.
So you have your...
Do we get
People,
any
right?
sort of advantage having seen it coming?
You have...
Horn blow.
You don't necessarily have like this element of surprise on it. He's coming after the encampment. And the key that you're looking at... Okay.
Sorry.
This is
I don't
good,
know.
you guys, because if we help defeat this
They'll-
thing,
they'll
then they'll
owe us.
automatically want to help us with
Yeah.
the dwarf thing.
Exactly.
We should maybe.
That's not even going to be a problem
after.
because if we do
Don't
it,
worry.
that's not problem's going to
Yeah,
solve
no,
itself.
We could just walk away.
Oh, that
Yeah.
is.
No.
He's a
That is-
little.
that's
He's a little
big.
top heavy.
Oh.
I repeat, we could just walk away.
No, that's not what we do here.
No.
Do we want to give him like a
Because
little
he
thing
will
to?
follow
I don't know.
us.
They've enslaved the dwarves.
I was supposed to
Do
say, we should
really
save the
owe
dwarves
them?
and we should walk away.
I mean, are they? Do we feel like they're good?
Or we can
Wait.
cut a deal with him if we help him.
Wait a second.
I
Wait a
mean,
second.
Still
I
have
think
the
they-
eyes.
they
We
can
can
look-
always do
Yeah.
plan B.
Did they enslave the dwarves?
Yes,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what he was saying.
Yes.
Yes.
I asked him
They
by
did
choice and he said
enslave-
no.
Oh.
Because I thought
that's
at
what-
first
okay.
he meant like that was like
Yeah.
Oh, human
Yeah.
trafficking. Ah.
That's
Oh.
I missed that bit.
Yeah,
I missed that bit.
yeah,
I was
no,
busy
it's
staring
it's
at that
dwarf
thing.
trafficking.
Well,
That's okay.
Fair enough, that was my fault.
Yeah, the dwarves have chains on them. They have 2, sometimes 3 goblins holding the chains on them. And everyone's looking over in that direction currently. And you can see the giant.
It's the totem pole.
That's the totem pole.
It's the totem pole.
I know what it is. I have ideas.
I don't think you can that far.
All right, so I will say
The good news is
one more time, only because it bears repeating. We should walk away.
I'm gonna say No matter what, I'm down to kick this thing's butt.
I'm right
Yep.
there.
Did you
with
mean to rhyme? Because I cannot leave you on a rhyme like that. I have to stay.
Now you have to, right?
It's like an unspoken rule of mine.
Yes, that was my plan all
And it
along.
works.
So
every
you
time.
can see this giant is still currently not this far away from you. It's lumbering over to you, right? You can see now that the worker, the field hands, have now seen this thing and are now running towards you all. And one
Goblins,
of
dwarves.
both of the goblins and dwarves.
Okay, so
But
dwarves
the
are able to
goblins
run.
have dropped their chains and have taken it upon themselves to save themselves. The dwarf has these long chains, and there's one that moves. You can immediately see him like run over to the side and hide behind a rock. The other dwarf trips and falls. You can see he's snagged by one of the chains that he's connected to,
He's gonna
and
go
it's
first.
grabbed onto like a log on the ground. The giant
He can be the
is
bait.
running.
Scream loudly.
I want to save them.
So, just a quick question before we go into whatever this mess is, because I know it's gonna suck for us. How many dwarves? Chain gangs or solo chained?
They're solo, and they had some of them have 2, some of them have 3 goblins attached to them.
Sure.
They have now at this point
Yeah.
at this point they had all dropped the chains and are running over to you, basically trying to save themselves.
How many dwarves?
There are about 3 of them out in the field.
Cool.
One of them,
And
the furthest behind, has now tripped, and the chain has caught onto something you can't really tell from
enough.
this
How
distance.
far away is he?
I would say the dwarf, 200 or so feet.
Oh, he's gonna
Okay.
die. Sorry,
Yeah.
guys. He did.
Step of the
He
whip.
did.
You can see this giant.
Real fast.
Now you didn't see him initially, but you can feel the mass of this hitting the earth beneath your feet, and you can tell it is at least 12 feet tall.
Yeah, that thing
maybe
is jacked.
maybe more.
Little part.
You can see him stop right where the dwarf is. Just take his giant tree, basically. This guy is swinging a giant tree. It's not so much a club as it is an unearthed, unrooted tree, and he swings on this dwarf, sending him flying.
Shit, I was gonna try to shoot.
Oh. Should I catch him? Maybe? No.
He's still too far away.
Okay, yeah, nope.
The giant bellows.
It's probably not
And this cry echoes throughout the entire valley once more.
You've seen Harry Potter, right?
Yep.
Someone get on his back and stick something.
Yeah. Okay.
He's now, I would say, on 150 feet away from you.
Oh.
You can see all the goblins, all the archers anyway. They take up their bows and arrows, and they release all at the same time. A number of them hit, a number of them don't. They're just volleying at this point. They're just trying to get anything to stick.
I look to the shaman and I start to scream. I go, "Is this a common occurrence or no?"
He's gonna have his at this point he's gonna have his little contingent of mudgies, which you now
Mudgies.
Mudgies.
Oh, that's a cute name.
Oh, okay. You can
move
take 'em
over
now.
to this side over here.
We
He's
have
going
to
to
save the
have
Mudgies.
he's gonna have his guardians. Where are you? You two.
Guardians. Not me.
Not that I'm advocating this, but technically, if we don't help and the town is destroyed, it kind of fixes our problem.
That's what I said. We could walk away.
And we get a lot of money for being successful.
But what if he follows us?
Oh, that's pretty dark.
Can I
That's pretty
yeah.
dark.
climb the
Just saying.
top
It
of
is
the
very
pole?
dark.
No.
What is
Or
your
is-
initiative order?
Okay, are we doing initiative now?
20
We
and
should
up.
save the Mudgies. I want a pet.
Initiative.
20 and up. Initiatives.
20 and up.
Yeah, no.
Okay. 15 and up.
18.
18.
This is a good day.
We perceived
10 and
the
up.
hell out
13.
of that.
13.
12.
11.
Ooh.
I think if that is
That's a 9.
that is a 9. Okay. 11.
Wait, we're tied. 11.
11. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're more dexterous than I am.
Oh.
Yeah.
15?
Yeah.
Okay. I was hoping
You
we
got
had
the
like
18,
an Arnold
correct?
Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers.
You got
like,
the 18.
11.
Let's do this.
I got 18.
Okay, I'm
I got
sorry.
13.
Well, let's do this after everybody else.
Okay. Ooh. The giant is going to go first.
Go
Oh my
figure.
God.
He's going to get right here, but he's going to pick up a rock from the ground.
He's going to grab the chain of the dwarf and start using him as a flail.
And he's going to just chuck it in this general direction, aiming for the long hut itself. But it's going to... he's going to miss the goblin, but it's going to hit the long hut. And you see the giant portion of the long hut just crumble right in, leaving a large hole. He's going to end his turn right there, that he can go no further. It is Amalthea's turn.
Well, I'm going to now jump on this thing real quick.
Huh?
No.
Okay, make an athletics check.
3.
Okay, so...
I decided against it.
Well, you attempt, and you realize that the goblins have added like this waddle and daub effect to it, where it's clay, and it's really hard to grab a hold of anything, and you kind of just slide back down.
Okay, so I just gotta move to the side of it where I have a good view of him, and I will use my longbow to.
Okay, make an attack.
Thankfully,
She's
I
pulling
use my 3 on the
jingle song.
athletics, so hopefully this will be a. 18.
18
That's
hits.
not bad.
This thing is how tall?
28.
12
That
feet
tall.
At least.
That's tall.
Yeah.
12 feet, okay.
I would say probably close to 14, 15 feet or so.
You said 12.
Do I?
Well,
9.
initially.
9.
You
9
couldn't
damage.
go in the
She's
last
75
minute.
feet.
He's like, oh,
You
She's
battle.
now a god.
You guys see a bunch of hail of arrows, but then one longer than the rest and better made than the rest find its way into its shoulder and just it doesn't seem to phase him at this point. Just a bunch of he's riddled currently. Hyllenae, your turn.
Okay, so I am going to use my 30 feet of speed and try to lure him this way, away from
Straight here
this
or
area.
diagonal?
Straight that way.
You're too nice. Hyllenae.
10?
I have to protect civilization.
No, that was
50
50.
is that right?
So you go six
Yeah.
squares.
So is there like, what would I roll to try to like distract him to get him to follow me?
You could yell. You can roll an intimidate check,
Okay.
but you would have to do something in order.
I will do an intimidation check.
What do you do? For the
I'm just
intimidation?
gonna yell at him, I guess.
What do you yell?
Okay.
What do you yell?
Do it. Do it.
What do you yell?
Yeah.
Demonstrate to you.
Intimidate the hell out of that guy.
You
What do you yell?
stupid.
Yeah.
So I go over to where I am and I take my sword out and I just slam it into the ground
Okay.
and I yell at him. Pick on someone your own size, you giant brute!
Roll.
All right.
I got a 1.
You can see the giant just kind of look at you and then look back towards the mess of goblins that are hailing arrows at him. All right,
You gotta use something that's more.
Trixie, it's your
I
turn.
don't know how to insult
Trixie
people.
is going to do one of the things she
Jingles
does
your own
best,
deck.
and she's going to turn tail and run and hide. But as she does that, she's going to hand crossbow the
Okay.
guy. Oh, that didn't work.
How'd you
Alright.
do that?
I don't know.
So maybe it bears repeating a 4th time, but we could just walk away.
16?
16 does hit.
All right.
It's a good thing he's big and slow.
Oh,
Oh.
5 points of damage.
5 points of damage.
And then she's going to hide behind the hut.
Okay, great. You can go ahead and move.
Do
on.
I need to do anything?
Roll stealth.
15?
Okay, yeah. In the chaos, you think he's lost lost sight of you at the very least. Jingles, you're up.
All right. Do I have enough movement speed to make it on over to the shaman?
Got a little music here. You
6 right here.
Where is that?
6 right here.
6 right there?
Yeah.
That's close enough. Yeah, can you move me on over by the shaman?
Yep.
All right. And I would like to look at the shaman. Does he notice me approach? Is he?
Yeah,
Okay.
his eyes are mainly focused on the giant, but he takes a gander at you for a little moment, and then he focuses back onto the giant.
Okay, you. If we help you, will you help us? I will minor illusion a massive, like, plume of blue fire around myself.
Do you
Fight
make
now,
the noise?
talk later.
Yeah.
And I make the noise with my mouth. Because in my defense, I've done that before. So, okay, after the battle. And I'm going to turn, and since that was my action, I'm going to get ready to do something.
Well, you cast minor illusion. That's right. All right, you did. Okay.
But I'm going to look like I'm definitely going to do it.
You're getting ready for something?
Getting ready for something.
Okay.
I do need to reach my quota today.
Ganesh, you're up. You technically
Gotta hold off
currently.
another couple rounds.
So your field of vision is very small, but the footfalls of this giant left you feeling that it was somewhere in this general area.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think you can move closer, you'd have a better sense of exactly where he is right now. Currently, he's not really within your field of vision, but you heard him last stomp in this area.
How thick is this totem?
I would say it's a good, probably 3.5 feet at the base,
3.5 feet.
3.5 feet wide.
This is like Viking strength, man, if you're doing what I think you're doing.
I'm not gonna pull it out.
Okay.
Like
That's okay,
log
that's
toss,
okay.
like at the Ren
That's
Fair?
what I-
No.
that's what I thought you were gonna do, like the caber
Just
toss.
maybe an idea, though.
Yes, right? I'm climbing it. So you should toss it. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go straight, because I know the general direction, and I definitely don't want to get close enough to it. I'm gonna go ahead and run back, following where I hear him. Jing. I'm gonna come over here.
You can see them in your peripheral there.
Sure.
It's like
I'm gonna
Super
run
Saiyan.
past him. As I get over here, I look at Jingles and I go, "If I gave you a stone, do you think you know what to do with it?"
What?
And I just pull out the blue rough-hewn stone. You remember our pact?
Yes, I do.
How big is the thing in front of us?
It's really big. I start to explain with my hands, and then I'm like, oh. It's about 14, 15 feet.
How many would you describe it as?
There's a lot of...
Okay, got it. So without even I don't say anything. I just nod to you and I shove the stone into your grasp, and I just start to climb.
Okay,
I will
make
try to
an
make
athletics check.
Okay, all right. See, I'm pretty good at these. I think I can do this because if you add 4, it's still 7.
Can I just start pushing up like that?
Remember that favor I asked you about?
Roll with advantage because he's trying to help you.
That's not the favor. Wait, well, hold on. That's not the favor.
That's not the favor?
That's not the
Damn
favor.
it. All right, I let him fall.
Okay.
I'm just...
Damn it. Are you? What are you doing?
I don't know if I'm actually allowed to help him like that.
Well, if
You
can
were
help
ready.
him,
You were
As
ready.
Because I was going to say, I'm ready to help him.
as
so-
a reaction, I'll allow it.
Okay.
But he rolls with advantage at this point.
Okay,
so.
yeah.
That is a 16.
All right.
Okay, you can get probably about 10 feet up, 10 or 15 feet up or so.
Yeah.
So you're right around there. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You're heavier than I thought.
And I just glide. I glide away from the insults.
Okay, we'll have you there at half mast essentially.
Yes, I'm always a
He's a-
master.
Okay,
Gross.
the goblins are all going to attack now.
Go goblins.
They did pretty well.
That's a lot
Yeah.
of 20.
There's-
Goblins.
So the archers have now formed a little bit of a.
Roll. Stick that sword into that troll.
They're going towards it. They're off afraid.
Well, the archers are moving into a phalanx position,
Expendable.
and
Yeah.
these guys will eventually get to. Yeah, they'll make melee, base-to-base contact. So all 3 of them there are now melee range. All of them hit.
All of them hit.
All of them hit.
That's awesome.
Good job,
How
little
many
guys.
is this? 7?
These are 5 initially, just off of those that I have there. Where's the other one? There we go.
What are the cute
A
little
cat-
ones
a
called
cat's-
again? Mud something?
Mudgies.
Mudgies, yeah.
You'll figure out what they are later.
Everyone's really impressed. Oh, it hits. A cat's tail can also hit you as it passes you through your shins. Doesn't mean it doesn't do anything.
And then we have
Do they-
2 more archers over
Do some
there.
damage?
Yeah, the arrows are sticking. The ones that are there.
This thing just.
We have one
it's a
natural
big cushion.
one, 2 natural ones, but they have.
Is this Skull Company disguised as goblins?
Disguised as stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see a number of arrows hit. The 3 goblins themselves on melee basically actually make physical contact. They're hitting their knees, they're hitting the giant's knees and the chins and all that. And his large forearm that's on the ground also gets kind of hit. It is now the giant's turn, and he's going to make 2 attacks with his great club. And that's 2 goblins dead.
That makes
That was
sense.
fast.
These
Do they
2
explode
just
upon impact?
fly and land prone on the ground. You can tell they're unconscious at this point. The giant is actually going to move closer over here, provoking an attack of opportunity from this goblin, which he's going to get.
God, there's like muscles on
I know.
muscles.
There are muscles on his muscles. That dude is jacked.
He does get a hit on him, but he's going to move now in base-to-base contact with those 2. That's it. Just leave him right there. Malthia, you're up.
If I do the hunter's mark thing,
Mm-hmm.
so I get like extra damage,
Mhm.
right? To cast it, is that an extra action, or can I cast it and then
You can
immediately,
cast it
like,
as a bonus action, as a
Oh,
matter of fact. So
okay.
what you can do is cast it now as a
Yes.
bonus action, and you still have your action to
So
fire, or
Okay.
if you want to get in melee contact with him to hit. But yeah, no, you can do that. It's
Okay.
very possible.
So,
Luckily, it is a bonus action.
Notice the phrasing there. It's possible.
well, if I roll
So
it's
I
the
think,
same.
yeah, go ahead and do you have to now? Do you have to roll to hit for the
The hunter's mark.
hunter's mark?
Is it wisdom?
or is it
still
or does he
tough?
make a save?
With Hunter's Mark, I'm pretty sure it's just a it happens. I'm fairly certain there's no save.
Okay.
So
So-
just
That's right.
cast that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just like a point. That's the
Chooses who
target.
her
Yeah.
target is, yeah.
But they do. I think you have advantage on like tracking them afterwards.
Is this the troll going? Oh.
And she's just
Okay. I can avoid this, right?
I can.
Like-
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys, but I actually really
Yeah.
wanted to see if I could avoid this.
Yeah.
No one likes to be mocked.
Oh yeah, one bonus action.
Oh my God! Can you call
It
this
doesn't-
when you cast this? Can you say I want to Wahlberg you?
Yeah, it doesn't say about anything about rolling for it.
Mark you?
Ah!
That was the worst joke.
It was
but
the best for me.
Oh.
That was for me, guys.
It was awesome.
Sometimes it's the small victories.
You could be a dad with that.
The big hammer of this
That
thing.
sounded like a
throws-
legit. For some reason, that where I'm sitting right now, that sounded like a legit, like a champagne
Yeah,
bottle.
that's it.
Wow.
All right.
So it's cast.
Acoustics.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is cast. Let me.
That's for after we win.
So I'm gonna roll my attack, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna cast it.
Don't judge me.
17.
17 to hit.
Oh
Yes.
God,
It
he's
hits.
reaching into the.
Brilliant.
I don't like this. The Philosopher's Stone is in there next to like Pandora's box, you know, like just all these things of myth.
We've given a hunter's mark, so I know that it is marked.
Wow, and he didn't fall over.
Okay, so it's
He's
13.
like, that's gonna.
13 points of damage.
13 altogether, yeah. With,
Nice.
With the extra d6.
Nice.
It's a Livestrong band,
So you watch
right?
another arrow be released by Amalthea, it goes right into its neck. He just grabs it, snaps it right off.
I might move back just a little tiny bit.
Sure.
Just to, like here behind Trixie.
Sure.
Just,
How
I
far
can't
can he
see
go?
it.
He can
It
only
can't
go
see
like
me.
a few, like, he can't reach me that way.
You don't know.
He's got big feet. Be careful.
Hyllenae, you're up.
Alright, I am going to charge up to him and attack.
Okay. Move her closer if you can.
And if I hit him, I'm going to use Divine Smite.
Okay.
Just
Roll to attack.
Duck right under the tree. Step on the goblin.
Aim for the jugular.
Alright, hold on. I'm using my mace. so that's plus 6. So 13, because proficiency is 15.
You hit.
It's 14, guys.
No, it's not. Shut up. Alright, so then I'm expending a spell slot to Divine Smite him.
Okay.
So that is 6
Oh, nice.
plus
Oh,
7,
nice.
so 13 plus 14.
14 total.
14 total.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Level 2.
That's a good hit for level 2.
Okay. You watch as Hyllenae come up and dig in really, really good into the thigh of this giant. He's moved by it, but he's still pretty. He doesn't seem like it's gonna take him any. There's a good. He seems unfazed by it, and even though he's bleeding, he's still up, and yeah. All right.
He's still up.
Trixie, you're up.
Alright, Trixie's gonna do a little out, and she's going to shoot him again.
Okay. You have
Advantage?
you have sneak attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do I also have advantage from being hidden?
If you would normally, yes.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Oh.
That is unfortunate.
Hey.
12?
12 just misses.
Oh.
Shoot. Yeah.
Too many goblins in the way.
That's. I didn't want to hit him.
A bolt flies over his right shoulder. All right.
Okay, it's just gonna go right back.
Okay.
And
Jingles, you're up.
All right. Yeah, you're hiding again.
Can I hide again?
Yep.
You
Go
got
ahead. Yep.
I was gonna say,
Jingles,
yeah.
you can barely see him currently. He's got about 3/4 cover.
Okay.
You can just see his head, but
I see his head.
he's got cover.
So, how's that hut looking? Is it looking relatively sturdy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go up on the hut. I'd
Okay.
like to.
It's not easy, Jingles. For
Is
the
it?
record.
not to show somebody how it's done.
So when there was a hole in it, it's just a hole. It's not like keeping.
No, there's a hole just right in
Oh,
here.
Okay.
Not
Right.
to, like.
That's a acrobatics.
Athletics or acrobatics, whatever.
Okay. All right. I will go. It's a 15. So that's either going to be a 14 with athletics, or that is going to be a 15, 17, 19 with
You make it up.
acrobatics.
You make it up there, and you're just able to basically move. You spend all of your movement just to get to that point right there.
You do have the stone.
I do have the stone. All right, and I'm going to look down at the stone, and I'm going to look over at the giant, and as I'm channeling this like blue Super Saiyan around myself, I would like to hold out the stone like this, and I'd like to see if I can cast a firebolt through the stone.
Make an Arcana check.
Okay. All right.
Make a confidence check.
It could have been better. That is an 8 plus 4, 12. That's only 12.
Okay. At this point, go ahead and roll your firebolt spell, and then roll on the table.
Oh.
What does that mean?
Oh, that's bad.
Oh.
14?
14 hits.
14 does hit. Okay, and
But
now
you're
it's a
going to
roll on
the
the
table.
table.
I don't.
Okay.
I do have that.
You do have the table?
I think I do.
Okay. All right. Do we have a
Who's
D100?
sprouting mouths?
Do we have a D100?
Tails or
Okay, wait. He has one. I don't
You know,
have
like-
one. Oh, that's what.
Yeah,
Cover
you
band
can
name right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Okay.
an angst punk band.
Yes.
Okay, so that is a 30.
30. Let's see what. 30.
Wait a second, and then the second number.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, second number is a. It is a 30. Okay.
33?
All right, so that is a 30.
Let's see who's there. No one can really see you actually at this point, but your feminine figure
Wait.
changes to an even more feminine figure.
What?
Your
Twas the
facial
plan
hair
all along.
disappears.
What?
You grow breasts.
Wow.
Your hip has changed, and you notice that you have more slender features than you had previously. You are now female for the next 24 hours.
I have to perceive this at half mast.
He is too. You know what?
I can. It's like it's gotta be radiating magic. I can definitely feel this.
You'd be right in your range, just barely within your range.
So-
So you see this like weird like, and you're not sure exactly what happened. You see that the firebolt go off. Roll for damage actually.
Okay. All right.
Can I spend a reactionary action?
Oh my god, that's gonna be that's a total of 2 damage.
2 damage, and you change genders. Awesome.
Yeah, but that's the D10. And remember the +1 from the sorcerer.
This is not okay. It has a
So
0.
yeah, it's a 0.
So 2 total.
So 2 total
I get it.
damage.
2 total damage. All
It
right.
was powerful.
He doesn't ignite, correct?
No, he
Okay.
does not ignite.
So you see this little. He now notices you.
And he falls in love.
You feel that by casting it through it, nothing really happened at that point.
Okay, alright, so I don't quite understand how to use this thing yet. I'm gonna make use of it. I'm gonna put it in my cleavage. Alright.
I'm not gonna roll for that. I'm just gonna. Don Ash, you're at half mast.
Okay, so I'm gonna climb the rest of the way up if I
Okay,
can.
roll an athletics or acrobatics, whichever.
I don't want.
you
I want to.
prefer.
Let's try it. I should not have rolled that one. I wish I was a terrible at it. 7.
7. You get up 5 feet, but you slide back down
Okay.
5 feet.
So through the exertion, I'm going like, Jingles! How's the stone working? Oh! Jingles? So from here, I just pull out because I can't get any further. So I just pull out my hand crossbow. How far away is he from me?
Jingles?
No.
You can't feel him at the range you're at. You would roll at disadvantage.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it.
Jingles.
Yeah, right.
You heard him. You heard the impact of the fireball and him scream. So you would have a general idea, but you'd roll at disadvantage.
Okay. I'm just gonna shoot this hand crossbow whilst holding on with monkey features. That is not very good. Is that dexterity? That's 9.
9 total.
Yeah,
Even
I
with
think
a
that's-
disadvantage. Okay. No.
Oh no, that's not disadvantage. That's. I've been a critical 20. God.
So you don't hear it impact, and you hear a bunch of the other arrows still going off by the other
Yeah.
goblins. Actually, it's the goblins' turn now, and this one's going to go back up to it. These are going to go to melee
I think it's
contact.
process. I want to jump.
There are 5 right there.
Yeah. Swan dive.
I do not
Not to go
advise
by.
it.
One
Uh-huh.
I
misses.
do not advise
You
it.
might swan dive into the hut.
It's like if no one's gonna listen to walk away, then I'm gonna walk on it. Like,
It'd be like one of those, what are they, the inflatable mattresses where you like land on one
Stick
end and
something
then
up
the
somewhere.
person on the other end just shoots off.
yeah.
Okay. 4 of the 5 goblins down there where you are at, Hyllenae, hit the giant, and he's just. The 5 back here will all fire their bows. And 2 of those miss, so. Okay. 7 total from them. A bunch of arrows, you can see kind of like they're even hitting his head, and he's kind of just putting his hand up to kind of just swat them, really. He doesn't really know what's going on, just the fact that they're hitting him. It is now the giant's turn. He's going to look down beneath. He's going to see this shining paladin. He's going to make his attack.
So bad.
18.
Nope.
Nope.
What?
Ooh.
19. Because I used my mace, so I have my shield.
That's
So,
right.
it lands right next to you. Everyone can feel the impact now of this giant great club. Bunch of rubble and dirt and a little bit of the sodden grass just kind of fly up. He grabs another rock. He's looking. You can't see him look at you, but he's going to now throw this rock at your general direction, kind of getting close to you two. Does 17 hit you?
What if I said yes?
Then it hits you. It is going to deal a whopping.
Oh, that's always a good
And if I said
adjective.
no? Did you say whopping?
Whopping.
I'm gonna come with a whapping rock.
24 damage.
I am
Dead?
fucking dead.
This rock hurls, just barely missing you as you duck down. It crashes into the pole that you're on, takes the pole down with you, and you guys see Don Ash lie down on the ground,
Oh, son of a...
unconscious.
I feel like if I could talk, I would say for the 5th time we could have walked away from this.
Amalthea, you are up. You just saw your friend go down. I'll leave it up there, but it
No.
fell.
Let's do it.
It's down.
Let's make it count, shall we?
And you are
Well, I go, Donash, are you okay?
no response.
I'm
No
mad
quip
as
this time.
I'm mad as hell. I go like this. And I'm gonna shoot him again.
All right.
Oh.
I'm not gonna shoot him
Not bad
What's the
enough.
total?
again.
What's the total?
8.
8 does not hit.
I stole your dice, illustrious dude.
I was
I'm
trying
gonna run back this way and be like, Donash.
Okay. You can get just to him.
I don't have
Um,
anything to give him.
Okay. Hyllenae.
I'm gonna attack him with my mace.
Most important. A eulogy will do.
I'm shaking and I'm staring up at the ceiling going,
Get a 1.
You swing and it just goes too wide. The giant now notices where you are and in relationship to the other goblins around you, and he just kind of steps back lazily, but you still don't find his leg. It is now Trixie's turn.
All right. I have a healing potion, so I'm going to turn around and see if I can toss it to Amalthea to get to him.
Okay.
That's not my action though? Can I interact with that, or is that my action?
That would probably be.
It's okay.
I can make it a bonus action if you're just gonna pass it off. You're gonna toss it off.
I was just gonna toss it. and
Okay.
let her do-
You
Maybe
both
two,
have
she
to
was
roll dexterity checks though.
Never mind. That's okay. I'll just walk over here and get to him.
All right. You can administer the healing potion. Roll your.
Oh, that's right.
D4.
Do you want to roll it?
I'm unconscious. Right now, I'm looking at the right
Oh,
way.
nice.
4 plus 4. You heal up to 8 points of health damage. Health points. Sorry, not
Okay,
health
go ready?
damage.
She is gonna just pat him back away.
Yeah, for the most part, you didn't see this rock coming until it was in your field of
I
vision. You're like,
see.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, you are alive. Jingles, it is your turn.
Oh, and then I'm gonna hide again. Just-
Okay. All right, go ahead and you can roll from there.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, you're fine. All right, Jingles.
Okay.
You were just barely
missed by a rock, turned into a woman. This is a good day.
And you can look at the general health of this giant, and
Yeah.
even though he's taken down quite a bit, he still has a lot of fight in him.
Does. Okay. All right. Does it look like so we gotta distract it. We gotta get it to not pay attention to us for a second. Does it look like that guy in the background, that the dead goblin that got hunted off that way? Does he have like a sword or anything?
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
he's definitely it's all by his
by his side. Okay, perfect. Would you say it weighs less than 5 pounds?
It does weigh less than 5
Excellent. All right. I would like to attempt to see if I can catapult that thing right into the base of his spine.
Ooh, all right.
All right. Oh no, that's a 13.
13 hits.
Yes!
Just barely hits.
13.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad
All right.
somebody
Roll
rolled
damage.
Wow. Okay. All right. I just have to find. That's
Enough.
a.
Someone
that's
rolled
a 10.
enough.
That's a 12. Wait a second. What did the
Is it a
eights look like?
Are they D8s or
They're
D10s?
D8s. Oh, there we go. It's the diamond, right? Okay. All right.
In the rough.
So, that's a 2,
Mm-hmm.
6, and 12. Okay, so that's going to be 12 plus 1, 13
Because
damage
divine smite, I get
to the base of that giant spine.
This is your moment.
Oh shit!
Just paralyze it.
So I would like to look at the goblin with the sword, look at the giant, look at my boobs, look at the sword, and then I would like to grasp it with whatever arcane energies I can summon up. And after seeing Donash get blasted out of the totem, I know that we've got to end this fast, and I'm going to just slam that thing all the way to the hilt and bury it right into his backbone.
All right, you guys now awake. You see just out of your peripheral a sword go and disappear.
See out of your peripheral.
Oh.
I can see many a thing now that I've passed the threshold of death.
The rest of you watch this blade go. The giant attempts to grab it. His eyes roll to the back of his head. And he falls forward. Make a dexterity check.
Oh shit. 7.
You're okay. Your leg is somewhat pinned as he falls down. The goblin next to you is not so lucky. And he, with a large impact, thud that can be heard echoing out through the canyon now. You hear the life of the giant is. And you hear the poor little goblin underneath go. And you take your foot out, and you see a little tiny hand try to grasp
Can I pull him
anything.
out?
Or roll a strength check.
Still alive?
It's gonna just be his arm.
Yeah. Oh my god.
What?
12. Oh, gross.
No, okay. You're able to move the flabby mess that this giant is,
Flabby
and
mess.
There's no flab on that guy. That guy is
Yeah.
the beast.
Yeah.
2% flab I've ever seen anything.
Right.
I'll say he was in around
He
his
was
loincloth.
alright,
Yeah.
that's fair.
Oh, I had to touch him around his loincloth.
Just a whole big mess of flab.
Down in his loincloth.
I'm gonna go wash my hands.
So
Okay,
the
wait.
giant has been slain.
Oh, yeah.
He's fallen forward, but I'm not going to put him forward there. Your spell does go off. However, you can, if you wish, you can move
it on
it
something
on
else.
someone else.
I was sticking on the shaman.
You got it. I had a feeling you would.
So you
She'll always
better,
know where he is.
Yeah.
so you better help us now.
Yeah, for next.
The
like,
shaman, you can
You're
see
much
now
better.
doing this. And he kind of stomps on the platform. The platform moves. You can see the little tiny mudgies just working very, very hard to try to move. And you can see the platform moving all the way over to where the fallen comrades are, including the ones that were here. Actually, well, I think. No, I think they're fine.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, I don't think that guy died.
No, yeah, but these were fine.
Let them live.
So the shaman makes his way over to where the fallen goblins are and begins to just cast a spell. You can see this bluish greenish glow emanate from his fingers, and after a
It
short
is the
while,
Black Cauldron.
you can see the goblins kind of stir, clutching their sides, getting up, looking at the shaman, and immediately going into a full-on just grovel position, knees on the ground, head down. Their arms are kind of over their heads. Rise, rise, you two. You fought well. He looks back at all of you, especially you.
Not so much me. I'm still just like.
Well, I believe we had a deal.
He nods, a big nod. He stamps again, and the little mudgies make their way back over to where you are. The goblins, all now, encircle all of you. The shaman speaks, his arms out again. You all fought very bravely just now. How is it that you are this powerful?
Healing potions.
A little tooth kind of just gets lodged in the soft earth beneath you. He makes his round over to you. He focuses on you.
And I'll slide down from the top of the hut now.
Can we now see him?
You now see him, see her.
Trixie's gonna have an odd look and then look down and look back up. They're bigger than mine. And she's gonna have a really upset look on her face.
I mean,
Get a limp
Jingles
over.
looked good as a male. He is pretty. He's pretty. He's got these gorgeous features on as a female.
Features.
Am I a little bit in love again?
Oh, what?
You're
might
just
be a little
blossoming
bit in
a
love
personality.
again.
That's right. I blossom.
I can't hold it up here.
All right. Actually, this is where it's a good time to maybe have a little break. And we're going to go ahead and pull names from the chat. So if you're active in chat, we'll be able to get them, and you guys could win this very D6.
It could be you, and it could be
you.
yours.
So stay active in chat, guys. We'll be right back.
After these messages.
I wish we had a sponsor. Hey everyone, welcome back. We have a winner. So if you're in the chat, Mr. Ramblin' Dragon, you get the D6. So please, if you could. Awesome.
All the rambling he did.
Rambling, yeah. TT admin is going to whisper you. So go ahead and give the information that we need to send that out to you.
Mother's maiden name, social security number, credit card. Number.
All that good stuff. So thank you for watching. You got rewarded. Next week we'll have another dice to give away. I don't know. Might be D4. Might be a D20. I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. Let's get back into the game. So the party had just felled a giant, a hill giant to be exact. The Jingles has transformed
I
into
feel
a
bandaged, so I might as well wear a
Mrs. Rambling Dragon. I'm sorry, my apologies.
You.
I know.
You assume?
Well,
He also rolled a 30 on the magic table, and now she's a
I was
she.
just going to say, in all defense, the whole gender thing is a little fluid right now.
It's 2018.
They won. How's that?
She won, and she
All right.
she's
So
lovely.
thank you again, Ramblin' Dragon. Okay, the party had just felled a giant, a hill giant, and they are now talking with the shaman once again. The shaman went ahead and cast a healing spell to his goblin friends there. You can see now currently there are goblins that are running out to the field to go and help the dwarven worker, the field hand that had fell down earlier in the onslaught there. You can see them kind of actually hauling him back over to the main camp.
Is he alive after getting smacked by the
So
giant?
initially, no. But you can see him
now,
start
so
to...
the magic affected him too?
No. The goblins had administered potions of their own.
Wrong!
Potions of their own and stabilized the dwarf. So the dwarf is still unconscious, but he's not bleeding out.
Okay.
And they bring him over to the main encampment there. They bring the other dwarves that were out there as well. And there's a total of 5 of them. Still bound in chains, but they're free to move somewhat. They're just chained up. And you can see all of their features are gaunt, sunburnt, and a little bit of the reddened tone on the top of their foreheads and the cheeks. And they all seem to just kind of like look down at the ground. They don't really know what's going on, to be honest. The shaman speaks up once again. You have all proven yourselves, at least capable to fell this giant. So, we can now work an agreement.
Good.
First things first. Whatever you have to do with the stream does not need these 5 dwarves. If you expect us to do any kind of deal, we cannot stand idly by as you have slaves of someone that was sent by us. Or of the race of
Other way
people
around.
that sent
That's it.
people.
That sent us.
I just got smacked with a rock. So.
As a token of goodwill, we will free them. They will return with you. He waves a hand, and you can see a bunch of goblins are now opening the manacles to all of these dwarves there, and you can see them just kind of like, they're a little sore around their wrists and their necks. You can see where the metal has dug in a little bit, and they still huddle amongst each other. They're not looking up at all. He snaps, and there is a Mudgy that is coming out with a giant crate, and it's got dwarven armor. You can tell there's a bunch of weapons just kind of stuck in there. These are their belongings. You may take them with you as well. We only ask of this, that you allow us 2 weeks to finish our construction of the dam. And then he takes off his necklace. Ooh. It is a beautiful jade sculpture, and it has a relief of a goblinoid face on the front of it. Give this to the king. He hands it out. It's,
Okay.
Yeah, don't let these go.
I was like,
Just in case someone's fingers get sticky.
No.
I just toss it over to you. I go, look, very much appreciate this pact that you're willing to make with us. Feel like 2 weeks seems sufficeable, and feel like it's not
I think we can convince the king.
not too bad. Yeah.
Been without water for a long amount of time already. I think they'll be fine for a couple more weeks.
But they're not completely without it.
Yeah. It's
I will say, sorry about the maypole, but also, what type of magic user are you?
Mhm.
It's an interesting aura that you gave off when you healed everybody. I noticed that it didn't come towards our party's way.
I don't know who you are. I know who my own kin are.
You know us to be someone who just saved your kin.
And that is why we are having this conversation.
I walk away haughtily, and I just go. I start heading towards the troll.
He is now ignoring him,
Mhm.
but he looks towards you.
So, I know a few things may have changed. Sometimes things happen in magic, and that's just kind of the nature. But our agreement remains. We helped you, and we would like to make sure that you are willing to help us. You have given us a gesture of goodwill by setting free these dwarves so that they may return to their families, and you ask only for 2 weeks of access to this water, this dam. Do you have any other intentions for this dam, or is it just for the agriculture?
He points out to the dam. The water needs only to lift up, to reach the level near the top, and then the pressure will be back to normal. The reason why the water pressure has dwindled is because of the dam itself. After the construction is done, they will have their full pressure. Furthermore, he looks back down at the field. I believe we can do trade with these dwarves. We have food. They do not. We could ask for a little bit of their iron. He points at the weapons that the goblins have. A lot of crude stonework, knapped flint. We could use some of their iron and their steels.
Would you be willing to sign a treaty of your goodwill so that we may bring it to the king and show him that you are willing to avoid conflict with him?
Very well.
Trusty haversack. Pull out, I'm assuming that there should be parchment, and I know there's a quill.
forgery kit.
Forgery kit.
Which
Somebody's got paper.
If you don't have parchment, you do have the quill.
Perfect
but
for
you do
treaties
There we go.
making
This is why we're a team.
That's exactly
Quill.
why I have it, and the only reason.
with quick dissolving paper. Oh no!
So we'll put the parchment down and draft a little agreement for him to sign. Very simple, very straightforward. I think that we should basically just say that they are willing to stop hostilities. They will take no more slaves. They will engage in no more conflicts with the dwarves.
They'll share
And
the water.
in exchange, in 2 weeks, they will have equal access to the water.
I'm not here, so.
Oh, that's it. All right. Yeah.
Oh,
So I
that's
think
good.
that's.
And then we should write down the goblins' demands
The-
as well, as,
yeah.
or requests, demands, requests
They
for
There's
iron.
a little mudgy
Yeah.
that has sat down next to you.
Oh.
I'm dealing with a lot.
It doesn't notice you. It doesn't really look at you. It just kind of sits down about 5 feet away from you, and it's staring off in the distance. It just kind of panting.
Sure. I'm trying to subside a rage that I feel towards the shaman for not extending his, healing towards everybody, or just his lack of natural warmth to us. I feel like so I kind of look over to the mudgy and I nudge the mudgy.
Okay.
I kind of look and I go, "How you doing?"
And he just kind of stares off into space again.
I go,
Oh, they're so cute.
me too. And I look at him, and I look back at the troll next to me, and I go, much better than that guy. And I walk up to this thing, and
The giant?
the giant,
Okay.
yeah. And just trying to subside the rage, I can't. I just take out my dagger, and I just give it a quick slice for throwing that sucker punch at me.
Yeah. You dive deep into his gut there, and you're able to just...
I pull it out slowly, and then I look and see if he has anything of value on him.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Do I percept anything with a 20? Not natural, modified.
A modified 20?
Yeah.
Yeah. You notice he's got a little pouch with him. In the pouch, you find a dagger.
Perfect.
It's got a... well, you can't see the color, but the handle itself feels like a beautiful stone of some kind. It is cold to your touch. Probably about 6 inches long, the blade length. And it looks like it's well made. You're running your hand along the shape of it, and you can't tell where it was made. It's not dwarven in make, it's not elven in make. It could have been made by human hands. It's a nice, elegant dagger. You also find a broken axe head. It's just the axe head. There's no haft to it. There's no handle.
Okay.
And
I take my original... Oh, I'm sorry, more?
and
Okay.
a grappling hook.
Yeah, you know what? That would have come in way handy for that maypole. Okay. So I look back at the troll, and I take the dagger that I had, just like my own dagger, and I just right in the neck, and I go, "You can keep that one, and I'll take yours."
And you can see the wound opens up with the blood. There's nothing gushing out, but
Sure.
there's still enough pressure in his system to just kind of like dribble down.
I let out a breath, center myself, and I walk back to everybody else.
All right.
With this thing is concealed.
Okay.
Do any of us see him? Just
You guys are.
I was gonna say
I
I'm
think
on the
so.
You
other
guys
side
are
of the
on,
tent.
all on the other side,
Okay.
so I would say no.
I
None of
do
you see
have.
this.
Do I have blood on me now? I assume I do. A little bit.
You probably had a little.
You have a little
blood
bit
on you from-
anyway to
Oh, right,
begin
right,
with.
right,
Yeah.
right.
You have the dry blood on your
yeah. Oh, yeah.
on the bandage, on the
Sure.
the cloth on your eyes, and you have just spattering here and there from your various adventures in general. So there's a little bit of freshness to it. Yeah. Your face is actually kind of like cut a little bit as it kind of just bled down to like to your chest, your upper chest there. The shaman continues on and goes, "Furthermore, I will bring back with you food. We have vegetables," and he points down into the longhouse, which is now has a giant hole in it. And he snaps again at one little mudgy from that's carrying him, and you can see the other one is working double time to kind of take in the double load that he now has. One mudgy moves down into the longhouse, comes back with another crate, and he's walking over out to the field, and you can see a bunch of goblins out in the field just putting corn and vegetables and various other things inside of this thing. They are also, as they come back, they're bringing pieces of meat that they had from other animals that they have skinned. You can see, as the peripheral, anyway, it has a bunch of animal skins anyway, as they have chopped meat and are drying the hides. The mudgy comes back, yeah.
I wanted to ask the shaman about the necklace that he gave us for the king. What type of metal is it, or what is that? Does it have any powers?
It is made out of a jade. It is the same jade that we use in most of our rituals. The mudgies you see before you, they are a construct. They are not real, per se.
Take one. Seriously, take one. You can take one now. You have my blessing.
Can we?
He's pointing at one of the mudgies who's now has a bunch of the dwarven armor and weapons in it, and it's a heavy crate already, and it's just kind of he's just sitting there, and now this new crate gets piled on top of that. It doesn't seem to bother the mudgy at all. He's taking on this entire weight, and he just.
When he says that, Trixie looks visibly relieved to hear that they're constructs.
And after I hear that, and I kind of realize back to what I just experienced with the other mudgy, I look and I go, then keep your constructs and keep slaves out of it.
I would also like to ask about the cauldron. I've heard of black cauldrons that can bring the dead back to life. Is this one of those?
It is a ritual cauldron, but it is not of that sort. We use it for our feasts. We bless our food. We are lucky to have it at all.
Yes.
The pole, we can always get a new one. I'll repair that one.
It's okay, Josh. It wasn't your fault.
The pole is of no mind to me at this
nobody's
point.
You can see now that there are about 3 Mudgies taking the rock that was thrown at you, picking it up, and all 3 of them are now moving it back to off in the field far away. This one you can take back with you.
Beat me to it. I'm not gonna say a damn thing. Thank you, sir. We really we can keep it.
Just gonna.
He looks down at it.
We will give it a good home and a nice family.
We cannot keep collecting like sentient things.
He waves and he doesn't seem to care either way.
It is
We'll get
done.
one of them.
Trixie run up to and just be near it.
Oh, okay. I
Okay.
thought you were gonna take him from me. I was like, don't you dare.
He's holding a bunch of crates
Yeah.
above him.
He's gonna carry our food back to the dwarves. So.
Yes, he is.
Yes,
He's ours.
She's gonna look back and say, but they don't mind? He's not unhappy?
They have no real feelings.
Alright.
They just do as they're told. They are our beasts of burden, so to speak.
Blade Runner.
They do their purpose here, but they are just merely constructs.
I'm gonna name him Muggsy.
Maxie the Mudgie. Alright.
He is ours.
We're literally gonna have a trail of like ducklings.
Yeah, no kidding. Just all these like weird creatures.
So, can I at this point, can I
Circus.
examine this little guy who is holding this?
Make an
Metric.
arcana check.
Okay, all right.
That's a D12.
That's not the first time
The-
you failed that, by the way. I wasn't sure if you were doing it on purpose.
Was I rolling that as a D20?
Yes, you were. You did that for an attack roll earlier.
All right, we're gonna try that again. Well, that was actually worse, so never mind. That's a total of I think an 8.
8. You're not entirely sure what their make is. You look at them and they have a weird texture to the skin. It's green, but that's about all you can really.
Is it like scaly or is
no,
it just green?
It has a little bit of give to it, but it's like touching the mud off of a recently dried lake bed. It's
weird.
very clay-like,
Okay,
but it doesn't leave a residue on your finger. It just has the texture.
so I don't rub off the mudgy.
No.
Okay. All right. So just in that case, you know what? He looks like he's got it. He's handling it pretty good. He seems pretty sturdy. Well, now that we've got this, and I'll hold up the little piece of paper, the treaty. I believe we can be on our way.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I look back at the shaman and I go, if you plan to keep your kin alive, your magic can only go so far. I would suggest you get rid of your horns and the pageantry. I wouldn't be sporting these new scars if it wasn't for your robust entrance.
He nods his head. It was a
Mistake.
tradition. We will look into it.
And with that, I think we should leave.
Yeah, it's not saying to talk
Okay.
about
Yep.
Stone Ash.
Pissed.
He stamps the platform that he's on. The other Mudgie has now joined back, so now there are 4 again, and the platform turns and makes its way into the longhouse. You can see a number of goblins are over there looking at the giant, and also immediately started to patch up the hole that the giant had made earlier into the longhouse.
You know, as we head on our way out, I'd like to walk by that little hole in the tent, and if I can, I'd like to place my hand on it. As the as the guy's walking inside or getting carried inside, I'd like to kind of make a very subtle thing and place my hand. That's right. And I would like to place my hand on the side of the hut and very casually cast mending.
Casually, right?
Yeah, very casually.
All right, you do so, and the hole is large, so
Yeah, I
it
was
would be
gonna say-
larger than you would be able to mend on your own. But you
Yeah,
can
just
watch
getting some
a
of it,
little bit
like-
of the twig work begin to twine itself again, and a little bit just kind of patch, just more than the workers have done thus far.
Yeah.
So
Show off.
It's more for show than anything.
So you do help them. You get a lot of the main structure. There's like a large wooden twig just going across the neck. They can now start weaving the other branches and whatnot, and they begin to just kind of like pile in.
Not
Some
some
debris.
nod to the goblins.
I immediately, do I feel that?
Can you do that?
Yeah, do I sense like that's happening?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, just
Alright.
within your range.
I loudly scoff and I go, "Is that how it is, Jingles? You just can freely help slave drivers mend their tents. We make a quick, seemingly treaty with these people where they have to change nothing."
It's not a seemingly treaty. It is a treaty. Just making sure that that's clarified over there, Mr. Chief.
What did we agree on, Jingles?
We got the dwarves back. That's not
they
nothing.
were. Right.
We agreed.
We
that-
agreed that they would continue for 2 weeks what they were already planning on doing.
Why
We
are
have
you so
left with
mad about-
nothing.
Why are you so mad about that?
We have left.
There
We
was
cannot
just
abide
broke
by
a peace
slaves.
between two
but
different
they're
races.
free. The slaves are free.
I
They're
look
free
over to
the
the
slaves.
shaman
Yeah.
and I go, "What did these dwarves to
he's-
you?"
He's deep
Stop.
inside the longhouse now. You can no longer see him.
I thought
I
we
would
took
like
the
to hold
slaves.
up.
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We took the
I would like
slaves.
to hold up the
Why do you
treaty,
want-
and I would like to very firmly, with my dainty finger, I would like to show Don Ash the line in there that says that there is a guarantee that they will no longer be taking slaves. There will be no more conflicts between them and the dwarves. And that is signed by the shaman himself. And if he goes back on that, then there will be hell to pay. But until that day comes, we have now helped not one but 2 groups of people achieve peace without having to destroy one of them.
I
That
want
is
to
why.
See, that's what I didn't
Casually
know. I
remind
didn't know about
Jingles.
that.
No, right,
that
because
Don
you had
Ash
walked
has
away.
a blindfold. I cannot see what she's pointing at. Sorry, what she's pointing at. And as I
still doing.
as I place my hand on his shoulder, I cast lay on of hands.
Okay. How much do you heal him for?
Let's see how much I can heal him for.
Forgot about that. Use your
I,
eyes.
I just hear silence. I'm like, guilty, I assume. Quite and guilty.
I lost my
You
bookmark.
can see him pointing. You just can't.
It's just-
Right, I can
no,
feel
do
it. I can feel there's importance behind the
See.
gesture.
Actually, so it's interestingly enough, because there's a little bit of pressure when you put the quill, you can vaguely
Sure.
read the parchment. It would take a while for you to read it, probably half the speed at anyone else could read it.
It's like
so.
me trying to read music.
I get it now.
I restore 5 hit points to you,
Okay.
and then I walk over to where the Mudgy is. I take one of the crates that he's carrying, and I walk off.
Okay, make a strength check, because these are actually quite heavy.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll try.
I'm so happy about this little mudgy.
24.
Yeah.
Okay, you grab it, and you can see the mudgy kind of like look up at you, and just notice now that you get into its vision. It sees that you have the things out. It's going to start to walk immediately right behind you, like, oh, okay, we're going.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
You can hear a little
So-
footfall.
So satiated from being healed by that, which was nice touch, like the being satiated by that, and then seeing the treaty that you guys had signed and brokered. I look at you, Jingles, and I go, "You now have the stone. I don't know quite sure what it does, but the way you acted with it when you saw it, there's a lot of responsibility tacked on it, and I hope that you put more thought than what happened here."
I think Jingles is going to kind of narrow his eyes at that comment. He's going to keep quiet at this particular moment because the truth is he doesn't understand the stone, and he is going to be extra careful with it. But he is going to stay silent and just kind of nod. I think it's best we get going.
Yes.
Agreed.
That's.
Okay. The
Come on, Muggsy.
Mugsy's with me.
Muggsy's feeling behind her.
Mugsy's following.
It seemed like it took the Mudgy saw the initiative of her
That's fair.
carrying one of the crates and walking off.
I was
that.
slacking.
So I mean, it's fairly easy to catch up to them. Even with the full weight, she's still going to move a little bit slower than the rest of it. She's technically encumbered. This is a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So
It's a she?
no, well,
I'm a she.
Oh, you're a...
the Mudgy
I was
doesn't
too
seem to have a
conscious.
gender.
Okay,
It's
that's
it's
why I was
very
surprised,
vague.
yeah.
It's just more of a construct. So
Muggsy's a mid. It's okay.
It's a mid,
That's
yeah.
fine.
they.
Are the dwarves in tow?
The dwarves are also now gathered. They're actually close to Jingles currently.
Trixie. Oh, sorry.
Their heads are still bowed down. It looks like they suffered a little bit, but
Sure.
they're happy to get out.
Actually, I had a...
Okay. And as we are leaving, Trixie's gonna kind of prance up to Don Ash and say, "By the way, you're welcome," and kind of hit him on the shoulder with like a wink.
I look back at that and I go, Trixie, you have all my debt.
Okay, she'll look a little less arrogant now. Touch her on the shoulder again and continue on her way.
All right, you guys head on out. You can see that the dwarves are quickly repairing any kind of damage that they may have done to their weapons or their armor and whatnot. The Mudgy that is currently in tow is holding all the dwarven armor. The dwarves don't seem to be eager to put them on, so they're still just kind of moving at the same pace that everyone else is.
Can I
You don't need those.
slow down a bit or speed up wherever I am in this relationship towards the dwarves?
Sure.
Kind of walk alongside them and go, how'd you find yourself here? Did you attack the goblins?
I was foolish. I was arrogant. I thought I could do something about it. We were low on water. We're not producing enough steel. It was quite foolish of me. For that I am sorry. I went on my own. He points to the other dwarves. They followed shortly after.
You acted in the best way for your peoples.
But it was stupid.
It was. And you have those chain marks to make up for it. Don't act foolishly again. There may not be another party like us to come and save you from your chains.
That is true, lad.
But now we can bring peace back to your people.
Hopefully it will last.
Let's just pray that there are no more beasts on this journey, huh?
He looks over at the crate where all of his weapons are and he just smiles.
Come on. Pick up your feet. We'll be fine.
All right.
We've got a long journey, so
You
let's
guys
start.
have a very long journey. Right now,
wheels on the bus go around.
Montage ensues.
the sun, as you enter the cave once again, is probably around 3 p.m.-ish or so, right? It's about a 45-degree. You can make your way into the cavern to where the broken carts are now laid on the
So they're
ground.
broken.
Well,
We can't put them back on.
Well,
you can put them back on.
Kinda downhill,
They're
though.
off the
We
track.
can push it.
They are off the track.
Okay.
So
nose goes for pushing.
there
I
is
just died.
there is currently one broken cart that was there previously, and then there are 2 carts that you guys had crashed on.
Is it really all uphill?
Mugsy could push us. No?
I mean, he
loves
could.
it.
He totally could. He's
He
a
loves
construct. He
it.
doesn't have feelings, right?
He loves it.
He could. He can
But he's
haul.
practicing.
He can push up to 50 times his weight.
Hey, buddy. Oh my God, he's like a little ant.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
there's a fun little game that I think you'd like.
He's
So-
just staring up at you.
I feel so bad.
Don't feel bad.
His
Don't feel
his
bad.
large black eyes just glossy and just looking at you. Mouth
So-
barely agape.
If we put that in there,
He immediately starts to walk over to it. And
Okay,
looks at you.
all right.
He makes the squeak.
It's actually the chair, but
He makes That's it. I love it.
And yeah,
Like he's got a diaper.
Yeah.
good initiative, good job, good pep.
But he's looking at you like he's waiting for
Yeah, you can put it in the thing. That's
the.
great.
He just barely is able to move it over to the lip of the ore cart, which is now, I guess, right. I want to go ahead and just, for sake of brevity here, you've righted the ore carts. He throws it in there, and they just kind of tumble in there, and he now stands again at attention, just looking at you again.
And you know, it'd be really convenient if there were, you know, all three of these on the tracks.
He goes over to the third one, grabs it, and you can see it's pretty beat up. There's no repairing this
there's no
one.
repairing.
It's
Okay.
broken. It's actually just
Yeah.
one of the panels is kind of hinged off,
Yeah.
barely being held on by a few of the rivets. The wheels themselves are actually bent in such a way that it would probably be awkward to ride with it.
Yeah.
He puts it on the track. He's
Yeah.
about to set up and hoist it together.
Yeah, you know what? On second
Let him
thought,
do it.
I don't want to do the little to the left, no, a little to the right. You can just knock that one over. It's fun. Try it.
Throws it.
Good. How about you stay right where you are, and
He
once-
falls down. Oh, he sits down on the ground, the little pudgy belly hanging out.
Oh. I just want to pat it. I just want to pat the
Do you want
belly.
me to take over, Jingles?
Is it-
Because
No. So okay, all right. How about we all? Does everybody want to get in the minecart? Do we
After you
all-
stop cuddling with it, yeah,
it's
sure.
good. Yes, it's
Muggsy,
okay.
can if I put this crate in here, can you still push the cart?
He starts pushing the cart. It's slowly moving at the speed that he walks.
Can I help him a little bit? I'll walk slowly.
Okay. Do you put the
Yeah,
vegetables
I
in?
put the crate in.
Okay. You
Yeah.
set it in properly. You can
Mhm.
see below you the dwarven armor just kind of just scattered on the ground there. He
I'm
didn't
just
really know. Yeah. So you put the crate down and you begin to move
Oh,
back.
before we do that, I'm going to pick Muggsy up and I'm going to put him in the cart and ask him to please put the dwarven armor back in its crate so that I'm not
He
like
begins to immediately start to put all
throwing
the,
this stuff on top of it.
you can see him putting all the armor and the stuff back. He puts it over to the side and it's kind of butted against one another.
We're going to do this.
He puts his hand up and you can see.
You're so cute.
And it's the weight of this thing. It's like lifting up a boulder. It's
Okay.
heavy. It's dense. And it's weird because as it moves, it has a weird like rocky
Squeak
movement to it. It's just like
Super
hardened muscle, you know. And so you put him back down on the ground next to you, and he puts his hands again, waiting.
Are we ready?
Are we
Hop
already
in?
Yeah.
Okay, you guys hop in. He starts
I'm
to
gonna,
move.
I'm going to help. I'm
All
going to
right.
help him push.
Aw.
Can I
Go
be
ahead
at the
and
front doing like a Captain Morgan, Jack
Sure,
Sparrow, like
right.
da-da-da.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a strength check.
That is an 18.
You realize that this is a lot heavier than you thought. You're not actually helping. It's all the Mudgy's work. You're pushing, but it's more the Mudgy itself that he's just kind of like.
Okay. Well, I won't give Muggsy any more weight, and I'll just walk next to him then.
Okay.
I'm walking right next to you.
Okay.
All right. You guys, for the sake of brevity, we're going to speed up
Yeah.
the story here. You guys make your way back to the auxiliary refinery. You guys mentioned you wanted to look around there if you wish.
But we're gonna collect the purple,
Mhm.
Purple
the purple fur,
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
you wanna skin
Yeah.
the beast.
and unbury the.
Yeah, I mean, can we?
It's still there.
All right, great. So I walk over to, well, no, actually, you know what? I go over to Malthea and I walk over. You know, Malthea, you smell the woods. I imagine you know your way around a beast.
I have a pretty good idea. Yes.
You smell like a pine forest.
Pretty nice fur over there.
You are correct, and are you saying I should skin it?
And I pull out that ornate dagger.
Okay. You guys see blue lapis lazuli handle, golden budded cap. The guard itself looks to be like a very very.
I'm talking to Malthea.
Oh well,
This
I
is
mean
a very private
That's true.
situation.
They're,
Oh,
they're
okay,
going
okay.
to go
Yeah.
cut up
Well,
a
then
cat,
you-
so I think I'm
Yeah.
peacing out.
all right.
Oh my god.
And I pull it out and I turn it half
Thank you, James
to you.
Lindsay.
Where did you get this?
I got it for you.
Not for me.
To skin that fur for me.
Is it a,
yeah,
is
I
it a
did.
present for me? Oh, no,
I did.
thank you so much. So I'll take it.
On the other side of whatever door I was knocking back there next to that maypole, I heard your voice, or at least one that sounded a lot like yours. You deserve this.
Thank you. So I go over to the beast, and I look at this beautiful ornate dagger, and I look at Dawn Ash, and I do a quick switch to take out like a regular dagger. And start cutting
Okay,
up
go ahead and
the
make
fur.
your check. Animal. I'll go animal handling.
I also don't know what this dagger is, so I have no
Yeah,
idea
no
what I
idea.
gave.
It's 12.
All right, so you begin to cut along the side, and it's difficult. This thing is very muscular, and you're finding it hard to kind of move around the ribs and whatnot. You get a good, I would say, 2 feet by 3 foot panel of this purplish fur hide. You're able to even peel the skin off of the sinew and the tissue, and it still has a little bit of that on there, but you can clean it up later. So you now have a 3 by 2 area of this beast's hide.
It's not enough to make a hooded cloak, but we'll make something.
Fantastic.
It's pretty cool. So I take it, and then I guess.
Okay.
Is there anything that I can tell about the dagger?
It was cold upon touch, and you can see a very fine mist kind of just pooling off of it that you couldn't see.
Right. I love the blindfold aspect. I'm gonna be giving everything away. You get a blade, and you get a magic item, and you get one. All right.
All right. Well, let's go back.
Do you give me the fur, or are you keeping it?
Did you want the fur?
I mean, I don't carry it. All
Okay,
right, I throw that on my shoulder.
All right. It's a little bloody, but
Okay,
whatever.
that's fine.
You are too.
I was just gonna say.
It's not pooling on you.
I feel totally fair since you gave me that beautiful dagger.
And none of us saw that exchange, I assume?
Go ahead and make a perception with disadvantage because they were kind of secretive about it.
Ooh.
18.
Wow.
You may have saw a shiny glint just catch your eye
Alright.
very, very quickly, but it was gone.
Okay.
And then,
I
but,
just keep pulling out jewels and stuff. I just have all these things for no reason.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would have seen it too.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
guys see the glint, but it catches your eye as you look back over. You see Amalfi pull out a normal dagger that she's got and then begin to cut the thing. So you're not too sure if it was that or something else, but she was working on the animal.
Did you see something shiny?
Yes, I did. And I saved his life. And I used daggers.
It's gonna kill you in your sleep. It's gonna kill you in your sleep.
It's possible.
Okay. Do you guys anything else we should do in this room?
Can I make a perception check just to see if there is any other creatures?
Sure. Go ahead.
I swear, if this thing had kittens.
Ugh. Post-mortem?
Me.
Jeez.
Ew.
Oh my god. Oh, I would. That's when you start raising it for your own.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
Not army of
Man.
creatures.
A 7. You don't hear any other noises. Beyond the cavern dripping and the low hum of the. You think it's actually the forge, off in the far distance, carrying through the tunnels. Nothing.
Would one be able to pull off a claw to fashion into a dagger?
So the creature itself, if you can recall, had tentacles on the back of its, like on near its neck. At the end, there was a pad with a bunch of spikes, about that long.
Can I harvest that?
You may.
Do I have to roll for that?
You actually notice it's a few of them have been cut out already.
Oh. Don't look at me.
Yeah.
But go ahead and roll.
Okay. Wait, there's three of these pads though, right? Or
There's two. There's two of them.
And both of them have missing?
No, just a small portion of one. I would say like about a good quarter of the size of
Is
one.
the other one full?
That one's full.
Can I grab the other one?
Yeah, I mean, you can grab. There's more there too.
Oh,
there's
okay.
there's like 20 of them
Okay.
per pad.
What am I doing? Dexterity?
Let's go dexterity.
Okay, that's 20. Modified.
20. All right, so you can. You take one off.
Oh,
It still has a little like bit of a
nope.
muscle tissue that's
Nope.
kind of still connected to it. You yank.
How long is it?
The thing's probably about a good 8 inches long or
That's
so.
more my style.
Little
Okay.
needle.
All right, great.
It goes to a very, very thin point though,
Mhm.
so it's not really thick so much as it is just a needle-like and long.
Okay. I put it. I sheathed it where my old dagger was.
Okay.
I'm good to go.
Okay, you guys make your way back. You guys still have the ore carts. They're on the track still, and you can continue moving forward if you wish.
Uh-huh.
All right, so you guys make your way all the way back to the Dwarven Kingdom, and you hear the forges. The tinking and clanking are still going on. You see a bunch of ore carts move in and out as they're dumping coal and raw ore onto the these large platforms that are now carrying it to these huge smelting furnaces, and all this ore gets deposited, and you can see these bright lights, flames licking the ceiling. They're that tall, pouring giant ingots, and you can see a bunch of blacksmiths grabbing them and king, 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 king. The forges again. You can see Armendariz working at his table, just kind of like king, 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 examining the bars again, and throwing them off. King, 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 throwing them off. He looks over to you and you've made it. Oh, this is fine indeed. I have something for you. And he walks over to where a few of the dwarves are hammering. You can see him kind of like stop them in their middle of their work, and they look up, and you can't hear them amongst the which is really low. And he comes back with this small barrel. It's about that big, oaken, iron band all around, beautifully crafted. Those of you that can see the color, beautiful dark oak, metal bands that have been polished a little bit, nice workings and iron bandings all around. That's got a spigot on it, and it looks like it has some kind of belt loop.
Yes.
Oh man!
He hands this to you. For besting me in a tavern drink-off. He hands it over to you.
And I grab his arm. I miss the thing. I grab his arm and I go, anytime and every time, my friend. And then I slide back and I grab the barrel.
All right. It's hefty. It actually has some liquid in it. And he speaks up again and goes, it has about 5 cups of mead in it. Use it wisely. It's good.
Strong
I brewed it
stuff,
myself. Not too strong. Just enough.
Just enough.
Just enough.
I know your taste, so I'm sure it'll suit mine.
He gives a bow, and I must go back to my work.
Before you leave,
Yeah.
I feel like we have some of yours with us. And I point to the front
And
doors.
his jaw just drops.
Treat them well. They've seen a lot.
He runs
They've worked
over and
on
just hugs like 2 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can tell he's just kind of. You think he's crying. His kind of head's bobbing up and down, and just goes over and hugs the others. He lifts up their head and just kind of wipes their tears off and their dirt off their brow, and he heads back over to you, and you can see a tear visibly roll down his cheek. This is a good day. I didn't think this day would come, to be honest. What did you do? He stops at you.
We did what we had to do.
He's counting his fingers and.
There was a little bit of a magical mishap, but
Oh, it is not my mind that is playing tricks on me then. Okay.
no.
I drink a lot.
Yeah.
It's not the meat at work, sir.
It's- yeah.
He is quite a beauty.
That.
Well,
Jeez.
you know, if I do
He
say
is.
so myself.
Jeez.
But anyway, so we actually
His
did-
eyes linger for a moment.
Jingles very absent-mindedly, just kind of.
What a type.
Oh no.
Oh, half-mast.
Jingles is gonna kind of regain his her composure, and we met with the goblins, and it appears that we were able to get them to sign a treaty.
Oh.
Yes, you will be
then
getting your
this-
I
water
have
back,
a necklace.
and they will stop taking your men as slaves, and they will stop attacking you,
I have a necklace.
and they have even agreed to open up trade.
Trade? What could they trade with us? And what for?
They grow vegetables up there. There's a whole thing. They have like acres.
Point to
and
me.
acres.
You can see the little Mudgy is already carrying this giant crate, and
Yeah.
he's like, he grabs his knife.
No, Muggsy, no. No, he's good. He listens to us. See? Muggsy, sit.
He sits down with his crate on his head, and he can't really hold that up as he is.
Okay, Muggsy, back up. You're good.
He has a little bit of a hard time getting his back onto his feet there. He puts his dagger, Armendarius puts his dagger away and goes up to him and goes just touch him.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
Aye. Well, anyway, that's good news. He goes to grab a few of the vegetables.
Wait, they're not poisoned, right? Sorry, I probably should have done that beforehand.
He goes to bite a tomato and...
I'm sure it's okay. They look good.
Oh, this is really good. Oh, he downs it, the rest of it.
Well, they have lots more where that comes from, and that's actually what they have been using that water for,
Yeah.
turns out. They're trying to build a dam so that they can have a little bit of access to some overflow and essentially water their fields so they can grow crops like this.
He looks over to where you see the 2 out of the 3 mills are turning.
It's going to be 2 more weeks, and then the water will be back to normal like it was before.
2 more weeks.
And if not, send us back up. We'll sort of.
That's right. We'll bust some heads. He'll
Right.
bust some heads. He's got a bone to pick.
He sees the expression even through your blindfold of your wrinkled forehead and just... Hey lad, do you have a story? Also noticing the blood on your vestments.
My story is of no import.
He got smashed by a boulder.
What is important
He raises a brow.
is that the goblins took your 5 men as slaves, but not without fault. They did attack unprovoked.
He looks
So-
over at them, and all the dwarves are now with their heads down, just...
There's no harm, there's no foul. Foolishness will be foolishness. And it's a lesson to be learned.
They are a stubborn lot, yes.
But if this tree that they speak of is to hold any kind of weight, you must also hold your end of the bargain as well.
That is not for me to decide. You must bring this up to the king at once.
Agreed.
Let's do it.
Leave these 5 down here with me. There. We have much to go over.
Reunite. Be merry.
Yes. He heads back to his desk and grabs another ingot and just pauses for a moment before looking at it and looks at you. Thank you. Thank you all. I never would have thought that outsiders would have solved our problem.
One could do with an open mind, Amendedes.
Indeed. Lad, indeed. Well, better get back to it.
I tap him on the shoulder real quick.
Uh-huh.
I turn around and I go, Amendedes, I already grateful for the gift you've already bestowed on me. I motion down to the barrel I now wear as a belt, and I pull out the needle
Mhm.
that I pulled from the displaced piece, and I go, is there a way you could put a haft on this for me?
He grabs it. It's funny you ask that. He nods his head over to where Skull Company is now, just kind of removing their
They're just like, peace.
their armor from the day's work. Now you imagine that the sun has somewhat gone down, or at least at the horizon from your travel back, and he points at them and goes, "It's funny you should ask. They came here earlier with a few of them more." He opens up his drawer and grabs it. They too asked for the same thing. Since you have to talk to the king anyway, come back down. I'll have a few of these made for you. All of you. And he puts the needles down.
Good
And
lad.
you see him just tapping his hammer again on the ingots and throwing them off into the cart next to him. You guys make your way over to You see a bunch of the dwarven workers are still at it. They hardly notice you.
I'm gonna practice my sachet.
All right.
I'm gonna try it.
All
I'm
right.
gonna work this while I got it.
All right. Make a performance check.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
As you guys make your way up
disadvantage
the
for
lift.
the weight that you now
Oh,
have.
that's an that's a right side up 6. That's a 10.
10 total. Okay.
Oh wait, no,
Oh, shit,
that's
10.
12. That's
12. All right. You guys make your way over to the King's Hall there, and there are guards awaiting you. They motion you forward. You guys kind of like hesitate for a while as they look stoic in their pose, but they're still demeaning. Their helms have this evil face on, worked on them, so you're not too sure how their expression is. But they motion you in, and with their spears, they kind of just point inside. You guys walk on in, and you guys are greeted by the vizier first. He's kind of down, looking at on his altar, peering through pages, and what?
Surprise!
That was
I
quite
bow and look
Wow.
at his feet.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Yeah, I
Me too.
immediately bow and look at his feet.
I start
Did the
to
rest
bow.
of you bow?
Yes.
I start to bow
yes.
and then I curtsy
Oh,
All right.
because I
And
can.
then French.
Yeah.
All right.
It's really
Vizier.
let's just milk all the sexist jokes we can when we have
If
them.
you got it, flaunt it.
The vizier Joss will rise, everyone. What news have you? He looks at the little weird creature that is now next to you. He's kind of like looking up at him, not bowing or anything. And
Don't mind Mugsy. He's
he's not
We
real.
found a friend.
I step forward and
Odd
I have the
fellows.
necklace that the shaman gave us, and I take
what is
it
that?
off. It's a token from the shaman of the
this is for
goblins.
the king. not the
He
vizier.
takes it.
I'm showing the vizier so he knows that we're serious.
That's just part
Vizier
one
might
of
be
2
evil,
gifts we
viziers are
have.
always
He puts
evil.
he puts
His
the
name is
the
not your
amulet
father.
down onto the altar. And he's, I'll be right back. And you can see him scurry off. You hear 2 double doors slam. Silence for a long time. And the double doors open again. As the king walks out to you.
Bow again.
Yep.
Oh,
that
no,
goes.
please,
Yep.
please, everyone up, please. I want to thank you all. The vizier just told me. Ah, here it is. Wow.
That's not the most impressive part. Jingles?
Dawn Ash. I mean, thank you, but.
I
Oh,
feel like-
right. Yes.
I feel like he's about to say something really interesting about this necklace. Like, he obviously knows what it is and he recognizes it.
Yeah.
I'm curious to figure out what's
You
this?
are correct, my lady.
Am I allowed to ask what the story is, sir?
I recognize this exact amulet. This amulet? Eons. Ages. Centuries old. This belonged to a great shaman many, many centuries ago. And I now hold it in my hand. How is that possible?
We have made a bit of an agreement with the goblins.
It was goblins, indeed.
It was goblins.
He looks back at the little mudgy.
And yes, that is a creature that was created by the very shaman who gave us the necklace that you
He
hold in your hand.
approaches the mudgy.
Don't kill it, please.
No, I would not.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
I will eat it.
This creature you hold is created from the same stone that I hold in my hand.
Oh,
It's a
that's-
curious
Does that mean
artifact.
we can't take him with us?
Oh. I named him, though. So,
He didn't say we couldn't take him.
he didn't say we couldn't take him. Do you, your lordship, believe that if Mugsy were to leave
Oh,
the...
I don't want it.
We can have it. Okay, good. Then we're all on the same
Will
page.
he live when we leave? Though, if does he need to be near the amulet?
I don't think so. No, I should assume that he would live just fine as he is.
Good boy, Mugsy. You're gonna live. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I am then going to whip out the
Oh wait, no, you're.
I have nothing to whip out anymore. I'm going to whip out the treaty, and I am going to unfold it. We have discovered what happened to your water. The goblins are using it as a means of irrigating their fields so that they can grow crops. They were the ones who did take the dwarves' slave, but the dwarves, the ones who went missing, had apparently went out to seek out the goblins and attack them unprovoked. And so it was an understandable...
Brash move.
Yes, very brash move. That being said, I feel like the goblins do not want trouble. They've been doing this out of necessity, and as the situation stands currently, they will give you your water supply back in 2 weeks' time. During which and after which they've agreed that they will no longer attack any of your convoys or any of your citizens. They will take no slaves, and they have even agreed to trade with you the food that they are now able to create, or will be able to create and grow.
Because of the water.
Because of the water.
Yes.
I see now.
So if you think it is possible to go just 2 more weeks in the current conditions, I believe that you and your entire society here will have access to a booming trade of food and natural resources and things that are a little more difficult to come by here in the heart of the mountain.
He unfurls the parchment once more. He beckons his vizier. You hear him whisper a few things, and the vizier takes the note. And on a wall to your right, you can see a bunch of various artifacts and ornaments hanging inside this giant, what looks like, for lack of a better word, a cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And he opens it up and puts it in there, tacking it against the wall and closing it back up again. I will honor this contract as long as I am alive to honor it.
In that case, I would recommend sending a few guards up towards the Goblin's Way. We can draw you a map, but it seems that the traditions often lead them to trouble.
I think it might be wise if at least one of us accompanies the guards with a written contract from the dwarves, so that the goblins don't think that you are
Have
coming
gone
to
back
attack
on
them.
it, yes. I think that is very wise.
We can do that. You have done more than we could have asked. You have bridged two peoples that were at war for, I can't remember, long before that's for sure. I couldn't ask you again to do this. This paper alone, the fact that he has signed it, means a lot.
He does seem an honorable sort, as do you. And I would expect that both of you will have great prosperity under this.
We shall give them. We should return the favor in kind and drop our own draft of the agreement that we can sign and they can have. We won't go back on our word, that's for sure. I worry about the goblins, but if they are true to theirs, and he looks at the parchment again, then we can exist symbiotically.
You could say they somewhat owe us. They'll be good for it.
He looks at you again.
Well,
All right.
this is what it's like.
Not even close.
Well then, thank you, Your Highness. I believe, is there any other business that we had agreed needed to be attended to?
And we collect our reward.
Well, before we collect our reward, Trixie, don't get
Of
ahead of
course.
ourselves.
Making sure no one forgets about it. Could be an honest mistake.
He snaps, and his ear's already moving over to where the double doors again. moments later, he returns. He has this large coffer. He opens it once again, and the gleam of the platinum pieces even radiates the light just inside this hall.
I hold Trixie up.
How? How are you holding?
Just I just keep her from passing out. Okay, you're good.
He leans over to you three and just kind of like the vizier's holding the coffer out.
Yes.
It's heavy. Obviously, it's very, very heavy. And you now have 1,000 or 100 platinum pieces or 1,000 gold if you want to write down either or.
We can buy ourselves a castle.
During this moment, I go, thank you for what I assume is generosity.
Thank you
Can't tell what it is.
for your generosity.
I have two final requests.
Speak loud.
As you can see, I do have a bit of hide that I may need tanned. I don't know if anyone here may have that specialty, and then rather quick, because I am in need of it. For my second request, Jingles and I sort of have a bit of a bet. We noticed on your stairs that...
Did he lose?
Well, he might still be one to lose. We all kind of lost.
Yeah, we did. It really was.
Him with his appearance and mine with mine. But
A little bit of blood. Just
right. We did notice that on our walk down of your multitude of stairs into this gorgeous abode, there were two what seemed to be slides.
And they looked really,
He,
fun.
you can, if you could see the zoom out in his face.
It is but a childish request, I understand, but one that we must face, woman to man.
It is to prove the better of the sexes, and you know, of course, the importance of that.
I do not.
Oh man.
It's big in
Turn.
In our culture.
I apparently so. I would not want to stop you in your endeavor to prove the better gender.
It's necessary, trust me.
I just kind of like do this. I go, yeah. It is. If it'll get us to the slides, then yes. It will.
I heard nothing of this matter. Don't bring it up again.
Thank you, Your Highness. I'm gone.
Good
I'm gone.
day.
If they're allowed to slide, can I slide too?
No, I don't
for
think
no
we
reason?
are. We're not allowed to slide, are we?
He did.
He said we don't mention it.
Yeah.
Says he wants here.
The vizier
Said don't ask
goes
for
up to you and begins to take the pelt that's
Uh-huh.
on your shoulder. And do you allow him to?
Yeah, of
Fine.
course.
We'll do what we can. And he walks down to where your rooms are in that same level.
Are we still allowed to use them?
Yeah, the rooms are still, you still have the keys to
Oh,
them.
okay.
You have yet to be excused from the kingdom, so to speak.
I'm gonna go take a long rest.
As
I want
will
to
I.
slide and then take a long rest.
I'm halfway to the slide.
Well, we gotta wait until he.
What?
You got your rug. I need to. I'm so happy. That's why
I'm
I went
not
back for the
using it.
fur.
I'm not
It's
using
exactly
my
what
rug
He
for
told you it's
that.
going to take a while. So
Right. So that's why I'm gonna take a long rest.
I'm
So
not using my rug for that.
what?
No.
No, just slide it.
I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm
beat you
just
then.
sliding. Oh no, you're not.
It's stone.
I have a very elaborate robe. It's good enough. It's close enough.
Okay.
I'm not
Well,
ruining my carpet on this thing.
I look at Jingles and go, well, as you saw, theirs are set, but as you can see, not clad with much. So I'm gonna wait until the vizier finishes with my rug of haste.
Haste.
My rug of haste.
Tug of haste.
Hopefully it won't be rug of haste, otherwise you will win.
Yep.
But I'll wait for that, and that should be something in the morning, though, because you're well aware of why I need to rest, and I think you might be good for one as well.
Yeah. Fair
Right,
enough.
do the rest too.
And I looked out and I go, because you must identify what I gave you. And again, I look towards his cleavage.
I eyes are up here, Donash.
Totally looking at the stone. I'm totally looking at the stone.
If you could even see his eyes.
Yeah.
Here's,
It's so hard playing with a blindfolded guy. But yes, I will do my best. You have my word.
Still me that favor, by the way.
You mean pushing your ass up that stupid totem pole wasn't the favor?
Not by a long shot, sir. Good night. And I walk away.
All right.
All right.
Donash makes his way into his room. Hyllenae as well. The rest of you three.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to the room.
All right.
Yeah.
You guys make
This
your
is
way
a
to your
room
rooms.
night.
Oh yeah, you guys are again. The comforts are all there. You have a little pitcher of water
Television?
and a what?
Television.
Sponsored
HBO.
by Hilton.
Can we have Muggsy come in and dance for us? We'll sing a song.
Does Muggsy dance?
Where?
Or
Dance,
recite-
Muggsy, dance. You know, like.
Recite a monologue.
Who has Muggsy currently?
Oh my god, I would fight pretty hard to have him stay with
Anyone
us.
else?
I mean, Trixie will put
some
up a little bit of fight.
monologues.
We can play
Teach
rock,
us
paper, scissors.
I'm gonna teach him some stuff. I think you two should arm wrestle.
So
But-
he's with you then. Okay.
Yeah,
Or it's with
he
you.
is-
Muggsy is
yeah.
with you. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I'll
You all have your own rooms, though, so remember that.
Oh, that's
I know,
right.
That's what I'm saying.
And mine's
yeah,
upstream,
that's what I was
guys.
saying.
Mine is
I'll rock,
upstream.
paper, scissors, and you for Muggsy. If you want rock, paper, scissors, or rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Fight to the death.
Fight to the death, yes. Let's do it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ha ha!
All right. Muggsy is with the female Jingles.
That's
For the
right.
Me.
Yeah, that's right. And I got these. So, be jelly.
For now.
All right. The night
You
concludes.
sharpen
you
that
guys,
dagger.
you guys all make. You still have the two pieces of equipment that you had found on the giant, the broken axe head, and the grappling hook, and you now have the dagger.
Yes.
You guys take your rest for the night. Jingles, if you wish, you can have Muggsy learn a few things. If you have anything in particular.
I'm gonna. You know what? I'm gonna teach him a little. I'm gonna teach him a couple steps for like salsa. I'm gonna teach him a couple of salsa steps.
It's very slow going as he just kind of like basically stomps his feet, and it's not really to a rhythm. It's not to a beat of any kind, and he switches his foots and feet. Sorry, foots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Proud foot. And he kind of does that little thing. Doesn't really do anything with his hand. Just kind of like just looks at you and.
No, with
You
your
see-
hands, you go like this.
See if it fits in the haversack.
And that's what I'm going to teach him. And then after that, I'm going to reward him by letting him hold a book for me as I read into the night.
Okay. Reward him. He goes and puts the book onto his head.
You got a table had a salsa, just saying that. Slightly salsa.
I would like to pull out one of the necromancer's books.
All right, the same one that you pulled out the night before.
The same one I
Okay.
pulled out the night
All
before.
right.
And this is not, I'm not looking for like phylactery. I'm looking just a spell book right now. I've never heard the concept of a spell book. And I'm very intrigued by his. So I would like to look through it.
All right.
Continue looking through it.
Does Jingles have the haversack?
He currently does.
Mhm.
The last person that had it. Yes.
Okay.
See if it fits.
Are we all sleeping for the entire night?
No, I'm
Most of you
not.
are.
Well, I have a 4-hour trance, so
Right,
I
but 4 hour trance is still you're still
I'm gonna-
doing
I'm
the
gonna
minimal
sleep for
activity,
40
so you
hours.
can
Okay.
walk around slowly. You can
I
read.
was hoping to just kind of examine the broken axe head.
Okay,
Is it? It's not technically broken. It's just it doesn't have a haft.
so it doesn't have a haft, and along the blade there is a large crack that goes all the way to the back. It is kind of rusty, and make an Arcana check.
That would be a 19 natural.
Oh, wow.
It feels like the crack. It's not that it is intentional, but you're not. There's something more to this piece of metal that you're holding in your hands. You feel that maybe it could hold a lot more power than what it is.
Okay. Well, then I just pocket that for my own
Okay.
knowing and continue with my rest.
You're resting. That's it. That's all
Unless there's anything to look at
You
for
had
the
the-
grappling hook.
Go ahead and roll on a Arcana check.
Shoot.
It's a magic grappling hook.
Yes.
It's like
Hot damn.
It's a 12.
Okay. It has some properties you're not too entirely sure, but it's something as well.
It's the bat hook.
It's dwarven in make. It has a very short haft to it, so you can probably put maybe just one hand on it, and the barbs. There's 4 barbs that go out, and that's all you can really gauge from this rest as you kind of hold it in hand. Now you can. Are you going to hold on to it for the remainder of the night?
Can I just spin it and see
Sure.
if it does
Go ahead
anything?
and I wish there was use magical item in this edition. There isn't, but go ahead and make another dexterity check. Just make a dexterity.
14.
All right, you throw it, and it catches onto one of the stone cabinets there, and you can tug it pretty well.
Cool.
Normal grappling hook for now.
And under my breath, I go. That's it. I go ahead and just finish my rest.
Okay.
Trixie would like, oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you go.
Sleep at the beginning, and then when she's pretty sure Jingles is sleeping because he is asleep.
I've got to
more,
sleep the full night.
She'd like to break into his room and try and steal one of the books that
Okay,
we got from.
make a sleight of hand check as you're trying to pick this lock.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is a
Can I
dwarven
use
lock.
Is it my thieves' tools or
With
is
thieves'
it?
tools, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Natural 20.
Wow.
Natural 20. So, you
I won't roll.
normally would have a tough time with these locks, but as you kind of study it for a while, you're taking your time there, you're kind of just poking around with one of your little picks there, and you can kind of feel something give away more than the rest, and you put another one in, and you kind of have to continue click, 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 click. You can hear the bolt. The thick door opens up. Are you, yeah.
She'd like to go into the haversack and take one of the books that they got from the
All right.
necromancer.
Which one would you like to pick up? There are several. There are
The one that looks the prettiest.
the prettiest. Okay. It's actually kind of like a as you.
Or prettiest, but like a little dark looking too.
Okay. It has a little bit of a gold binding on it. Actually, the pages themselves have that gold leaf painted on the edge, and you begin to kind of thumb through it, and notice it's kind of like if this realm had a monster manual. It has various creatures that
Bestiary.
yeah, just like a bestiary of Tremahia.
To say.
Nothing. Nope. Wasn't gonna say that.
And you can see just various beasts of burden, so cows and other different types of things. Larger beasts of burden, these huge horns on this creature. It looks like an ox, but it must be 40 feet tall, and you're not sure exactly. The writing is written in a very archaic language, but you can see that it kind of points to, various things on the animals themselves as you can continue moving on. You see a large whale and a plesiosaur type of creature, and you can tell that this guy has, jotted down quite a number, or maybe he bought this book from someone else.
Is there something that looks like a spell book that is not the one that Jingles has been looking at?
I was gonna say because there was the spell
there was-
book and there was I think the journal.
There was a journal and
we
a
only
spell
took
book.
one spell book?
So the spell book is currently, Muggsy is still holding it in the same spot. He has yet, Jingles has kind of like fell over on his chair and just kind of slept in
Okay.
his place there.
I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna take the spell book.
All right, Muggsy just lets go and just kind of stands there.
Mugsy.
And then Trixie will sneak back out
All right,
and then go back.
okay. So you roll an Arcana check, and you also roll a different Arcana check for different times that you have it with you.
10 for me.
That's an upside down 6. Grand total of 13, I think. Grand total of 14.
14. All right.
And upside on high.
You're able to, both of you are able to kind of thumb through it a little bit, and though the wording is very difficult to read, but you can tell that there are certain aspects to a few of them they kind of repeat, as far as like maybe they are somatic components or material themselves, and it talks about a few things, and it even points to what the material component could be, and you're still very, very vague to you. You're not entirely sure. You're not grasping it, but you're starting to get better at reading this book that he has.
And I was like, I'll read it for, the 3.5 hours and then I'll sneak back and put the book
Okay.
back
Give me just a regular d20 roll. All right, you put it back, but it's upside down. And and Muggsy just goes back to holding it again and just. He's has his breathing thing, but you don't actually see like a breath come in.
Yeah.
Right? It's more the action. You make your way back out. You close the door, and you're able to roll another thieves' tools check.
12 and I'm proficient. So do I use dexterity or is it just?
That's dex, I think.
Your dexterity.
Okay, so 17.
Okay, cool. You're able to replace the bolt back in there and move your way back into your own.
Sneaky.
All right.
I would like to examine the dagger a little bit more.
All right,
see if
you
I can
take your
access
time with it.
maybe.
And you're able to hold on to it, and you can attune to it. This dagger deals an additional 1d4 ice damage in addition to its regular damage.
That's cool.
And as you kind of play with it,
No, I'm good. I'm glad she has it.
as you play with it, you're able to feel the cold aura it has as this mist kind of just pools off of it in a very, very slow fashion, much like an open freezer. Just able to the mist kind of pools down, and it's very, very cold to the touch as you touch the blade there. So yeah, you have yourself a nice dagger, basically. All right, you guys wake up the next the next morning, I'd say. You hear the hustle and bustle of the dwarven city again. They're back at it again. The forges are going up. The people are yelling and shouting at each other, getting their carts ready, moving them down. Our mender is knocks on your door, specifically.
Yes, come in. Unlock it.
All right.
Come in. Yeah.
He has this giant folded up leather like satchel,
Sure.
and he unfurls it, and you see about 7 of these daggers now created. Beautiful pattern welded formation, very, very thin and kind of like bent. And the dagger, the handle itself has got a geometric thing. He hands you all of them. He goes, "They're yours. Take them. Oh, distribute them amongst your allies, of course. But
Of course.
all right."
Thank you again, Menderes. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
Last night before I fell asleep, I was rather tired and a bit winded. I didn't really get a chance to see what was in this barrel. Would you care to have a drink with me?
He already has his cup like next to him. Sure, that.
Okay. And it's like just like a little bit for a taste for each of us.
Okay.
It's like kind of like a swirl it around. I give it to him, I give it to me.
All right.
Unless you want more.
Mark down that you cut off. You took 1 cup.
Okay.
So you took a little bit of it for each. So yeah.
Great.
1 cup.
And I go to new days and to peace.
To peace. I'll drink to that.
And just
He
shoot it.
downs it. So, you feel something, but you're not truly able to tap into it just yet. It tastes great. It's a beautiful mead. You have never tasted anything like it. It tastes good. That's all you're able to get for now.
I look at him and I go, it's fine mead.
So, personal recipe.
Warm in the belly.
Huh.
You make this all the time.
Not all the time. This is the last of this batch.
Thank you, Menderes. I'm glad I got to share it with you. Shall I go wake the others?
Sure, please. I gotta head back down to work, so just
Absolutely.
distribute. And he just walks out.
You guys don't know I have this.
Nope.
Well, you have a barrel, and they saw you.
Oh,
We
the
know
barrel.
he has a
The barrel.
barrel.
Not the
The dagger,
Nothing.
that's
thing.
right.
Yeah, I just have it like tucked.
Oh, the daggers.
Yeah.
The daggers that are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And so I go ahead and I just start. I go to Althea first.
Okay.
And I kind of
Knock on the door.
Good morning, Donna.
Morning, Donna.
How
How'd
are
you
you?
sleep? Pretty well. I feel a lot better now.
Yeah, good.
Less of a headache than there was last night.
Good. Let's come in for a second.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so I close the door. So that dagger that you gave me yesterday, I would feel bad if I didn't tell you. This is a very special dagger. It's an ice dagger,
Nice dagger.
and it's really beautiful.
I had a bit of a guess at it. Did feel rather cold in my touch. Do you like it?
I love it.
Perfect.
Good.
Thought you did well.
I just want to make sure you're not, upset that you gave it to me.
Oh. No, I'm
'Cause-
quite well, actually.
Okay.
Again, I do appreciate you always coming to have my back.
Right.
In
yes.
times of great stress. I actually have to go see Trixie for the same reason, so
Okay, sure.
I go ahead and leave. And I
Alright.
head towards Trixie's, and I just...
All right. You're not
Before I knock, I already have one of the daggers, like, on my
Alright.
back, just, like, away from the rest.
Okay.
Trixie
Nice.
will open the door and go, standing like she was just sleeping.
Yeah. Yo, Trixie, how'd you sleep?
Very well.
And as did I, thanks to you. I wanted to thank you for that back there. You didn't have to do that.
Now, real quick, before I answer, so Trixie saw Don Ash give something shiny to a mouthfeel?
Oh.
Do we know?
You think you saw some exchange.
Okay.
Um,
We don't know what it is yet, then?
You're not sure what it is, but you also notice that as you kind of focused on it, Amalfi had already pulled out one of
Yeah.
her daggers, and
Okay.
you're not sure if that was what the exchange was necessarily, but she's got the dagger and she was cutting the creature. So it's a little you're not entirely sure what
Okay.
what went on there.
Okay. Trixie will say, "You're very welcome. I don't let any of my companions down."
And for that very reason, I just figured, well, can you keep a secret? I figured as much. Close your eyes. Trixie. My eyes were closed when you gave me my gift. Yeah. Hold out your hands.
Close her eyes.
And I put the other 6 daggers in the satchel into her hand. Open it up.
Just open it up.
A 6 set of daggers. They're beautifully made. The handles are the same spikes that you saw on the creature that had been carved up a little bit. Beautiful Damascus work, pattern welded on the blade, and they kind of curl up a little bit.
Do you think you could throw those pretty far?
Yeah. Can she actually try? Well, this is a nice thing. And that's what
In
you
case
get.
you weren't
Yeah.
actually blind before.
No, she'll just flip on up in the air.
Okay. You can get a good
Get the
feel
weight
from
of
them.
them
Yeah.
and nod her head and say, "I think I could."
Fantastic. Well, if you can throw farther than me, then we'll see. And I also procure mine. I just kind of flip it up and catch it as well without hurting myself.
Roll performance.
All right, I just kind of.
All right.
I really don't want to cut off my finger in this moment.
Hey.
Yeah. I think I can throw farther than you. And I just kind of put it back and I go, because you saved me from no life, we're not connected in this one. And I just kind of put the dagger back in some weird show of connection.
Camaraderie.
Yeah.
She'll nod and she'll start putting her daggers away.
All right.
So I walk away and I go, go ahead and probably wake up Jingles. I felt like I heard some kind of commands he was barking last night. I don't know, but
As
I'll leave that
as
to you.
you move your head back, you can
Stop
see
it.
the vizier is coming over to you, and he's got in his hands a something. And
Vizier.
Master Drow,
Welcome. And I bow immediately.
your furs.
Thank you very much. And I unfurl them
Mhm.
and...
It's a very, very soft pelt before you, and you can't see the color, but to Trixie, you can actually see the beautiful purple sheen as he kind of pets it, and the backside has been cleaned, has been stripped of all the sinew and the guts, and has been dyed and tanned, and it's yours for. I mean, you can make it as a nice throw rug. You can.
I know
you
exactly what I'm
Oh
doing.
yeah,
I have
know.
two ideas.
I know.
Just to throw him off, once the vizier walks away, she's gonna be like, "That's the weirdest thing. It's green now."
Is it? Oh. That's what the beast... Wait, what was it before?
Oh, it was purple.
What is purple? No, I'm just kidding. I'm like...
You used to be able to see.
I know. And I go, whatever it is, I'm sure it'll do its purpose. Does it look good?
Fabulous. Jingles would be proud.
Fantastic. Well, in that case, you know what? Actually, if you wouldn't mind me, I do have to see Jingles myself as well. And then as I go down to Jingles, I just bang on everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys all hear the
Flurry
dock
of blows.
Yeah.
Key point spent. All right.
And I just go,
You
Jingles!
guys all, the rest of you hear
Yeah.
the knocks on all of your doors. But
And I'm making a show of it. I'm like, Jingles! Rise and
What?
shine, ma'am! Rise and shine.
No. I'll look to the door. Look down. Still
Wait.
there.
Still there.
Okay.
Right. He's still got like a couple
Yeah,
hours, right?
couple.
I was like, yeah. I still
half a day left.
And just kind of hug myself for a second. And then I'll walk to the door. Is it time?
It's time. Only if you are. in the
I
right
rush
mindset.
past them.
And I start running too. I just like immediately start running.
All right. You guys hear a bunch of footsteps down the hall. Your door is open. You can see as they've just gone. They're making their way towards the door. You know where they're going.
I'm gonna run after them.
All right.
Watch
You
this.
open your
Still
door.
Keep up because she
All right.
wants to see what happens.
Okay.
I'm going
Jingles
to stay in my
is
room.
running in slow
Okay.
motion.
Are you?
I'm going to stay
Did
in
you
my
open
room,
your door
yes.
at all?
I have not opened my door.
Just
Okay,
folly of
watch it.
children.
Yeah,
No,
Jingles,
it's
Jingles
not
is
that
actually Baywatching this whole
You can actually
run.
hear
He's
a
Angelina
little
Jolie and Tomb Raider.
small noise
So am I.
at your door.
Okay.
But I have no
Sorry,
idea
open
that's a
it.
thing.
The munchie is there looking up at you.
Oh
I
shit!
clumsily pick him up
Okay.
and
He's
I just
kind of
kind of
like,
hug him.
I
'cause-
forgot Mugsy.
No.
Yeah.
He's holding my book.
You're
oh,
welcome.
he dropped your book.
Oh, he did. Okay, all right, that's fair.
He's not sure where you guys left, but you guys left, and then you guys are gone. And he's like, "Well, this one's
Can
still not open."
I'm
Can
a
I
bad
just want
parent.
to look into his eyes and see if maybe there's something in there.
Make an Arcana check.
That's another little girl.
Arcana is 20. Modified 20.
So let's
Oh, it's like Pinocchio.
black.
Oh.
The little eyes just
Oh, well, they're
glossed over.
I rub his head anyway and just kind of hug him.
All right, you guys
What?
are making your way down over to where the front stairs are, and you can see actually from this angle, you can see a series of ballista and other various siege weapons are facing not the main door, but over to the side where you see a bunch of rubble in this one area that you didn't notice before as you walked in. But you guys continue on your way.
I don't notice anything.
Oh yeah, no, you don't see anything at
Yeah,
all.
I'm
but the rest
way-
of you do, and
Weird.
you guys make your way all the way up to the very. Make athletics checks, both of you.
Okay. I'm so good at this.
Yes.
I have a -1. 16.
All right.
Athletics is strength. Oh, me too. 17.
Okay.
Damn it.
You guys are a little winded,
Also,
Yeah.
but you're not to the point where it's exhausting. You guys made it all the way up these series of stairs. You each have your own side.
I took the left. Dibs.
Fine. Yeah, he called it. All right.
I'm gonna let's see. Which skill would you like to use?
Acrobatics, 'cause I'm surfing this.
Can I? I
Okay.
mean. Oh God! Can I use charisma? I'm just kidding.
Performance?
I mean, I'd love to use
Use
performance.
performance.
It might not.
You'd use acrobatics.
Here's the thing, though. We never completely said what the rules of this thing were, so I take a couple steps back, and then I hold, like a skateboard, I hold it in front of me, and then I run and jump on it like that and just go.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, roll.
Ooh, that is a 16
It's an
plus 4
11.
plus 2. That is 22.
Whoa, 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 whoa. What?
You watch and you think you have the advantage. He's like, oh, he's not even doing it yet. And he's already.
There's just
He's
like
already.
there's just like a little pillar of wind that I'm like kind of riding as I go down, and I'm just striking like a.
You
Like a
can
flamenco
feel
pose.
that just right next to you. Like, what the
Yeah, yeah,
hell?
yeah.
Roll again. You guys are about a third of the way down.
Okay, all right. I'm
The-
gonna roll
the
acrobatics
braziers.
this time.
The braziers that are flying next to you.
Okay. Acrobatics. That is going to be a 14 plus 4 is 18.
10.
10. You thought you had the upper hand there, and the braziers are moving by, and you can feel the heat just basically barely kiss the side of your cheeks for a moment as you continue moving by. You make a little headway, not too much. Roll again.
All right.
Third and final time.
I'm gonna lean down and
All
I'm
right.
gonna go aerodynamic.
I'm gonna keep at it.
Cool.
You know what?
Yeah.
22.
Oh yeah. No, he gets it. I lean too far forward.
Natural 1.
It's it was a 7.
Just blood and face.
7. So you don't fall flat on but you're and you catch yourself on the
These
rug.
things are heavy. They throw me off balance.
You're watching now as he's more aerodynamic, so to speak, but still slowing down. And you just get there, maybe like
No,
1.
there's no way. He won 2 out of 3.
But the last one, though, as he's
Okay,
kind
alright.
of. You know what? Okay,
I'll
okay.
take the win. I mean, I'll take the win.
All right.
Roll a d20. No modifiers, both of you.
No modifiers.
No
All
modifiers.
right.
I don't know, on the table.
Moment of truth.
11. So that's a
I don't know.
That's
That's
it's the right side.
9. So, as you're on the ground holding onto the rug, you look over, and he's just a nose ahead of you.
Blindfold, just.
Now,
And you're
you guys hit
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
the ground, and you didn't notice it ahead of time, and neither did you. Now that you're facing the ground, but there is an immediate stop where the channel, the gutter, makes a hard in your case a
Abort,
left
abort.
tap, and so make a dexterity check as you reach the very end there.
That's okay. All right. That's not too bad. That's an 18.
17.
All right,
Sorry,
you guys.
That's a 20.
All right, you guys are able to.
Never mind. That's an 18.
Never mind, it's a 1. I'm dead.
Curb stomp, right?
Yeah. Oh, God.
And the lip is probably a good like 6 inches off from where you're at. You're able to stop yourself just in time. But the victor is Donish. Just by a hair.
You
I-
son of a bitch.
A braid.
You guys finally get to the point where you guys see them stop.
I jump up and down, clap, and go, "Go, darling! I did it!"
And immediately I pick up the rug, I take the dagger that I was given by, what's his name?
Mhm.
I poke 2 holes in either corner, take out rope, and then just tie it, I guess, like along my side like this.
Are you wearing it on your?
Yeah. Because it's like,
You
it's
look
just like,
like-
it's like a tiny like half
You
cloak.
look like Fred Flintstone right now, essentially.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it's not here, it's here.
No, right. That's
Okay,
Fred
fair enough.
Flintstone.
Fair enough.
He's
Okay,
got
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
So I go. To be a lesson to all of you to challenge me to a race.
And you guys see this purple adorned drow now just like, ha ha! All right. There are dwarves now watching you, and they all begin to just,
Fantastic.
they stop and go back to their work.
I look over at Jingles. I walk up and I go, you know, for not being used to your new body, you almost beat me.
Till next time, then.
I
Valiant race, my friend.
Valiant race. Okay.
There we go. I forgot I
It's
actually
like
can't
that.
magic.
Yeah.
I say, Jingles, you look like Wonder Woman on there.
I felt like Wonder Woman.
It was glorious.
It was glorious.
All right.
You know, at this point, I feel like, you know, are you here? You're not here.
No.
No.
I'm in my room.
she's-
I go. Where's? Did Hyllenae see it? I'm like, that's why I go. Everyone see it? Immediately. Who saw it?
Where is Hyllenae?
Hyllenae missed it? Yeah.
Mugsy!
And so we start running off
Yeah.
towards Hyllenae.
All right. You guys make your way back to the king's, not his quarters, but his little kingdom there. You guys make it back up to the level, and you guys see all the doors are open except for Hyllenae's.
We should go check. Hyllenae's room.
I just stroll past him.
With your
Yes.
purple diaper.
It's on my back, by the way. Yeah. And I just very daintily just.
Takes a
Hyllenae?
minute. You hear me set my really heavy sword down on the ground, and I open the door. And Mugsy's just kind of hanging out on my bed, because I don't make him do
He
things
just kind
for
of
me.
just sitting there with a little pudgy belly.
Because I don't make him do things for me.
His attention is kind of towards the door where you are now.
My soulless friend.
He's not real.
Yes, Danesh?
I beat him.
Excellent.
What are you doing? Come outside and have fun. We're racing.
I
And then I
feel
compose
like
myself.
just having some alone time right now, if you don't mind. But
With
well,
Mugsy?
you left him behind, and he was all alone.
He was not under my care.
You should feel ashamed for leaving him behind.
Yeah.
He
It
was
was,
so
just
bad.
for, it was just for 5 minutes. I just turned my back for 5 minutes.
But hold on. And so
I
I go
rolled
back
down
into
the
my
windows.
I go back into my I go back into my room and get the chest, the vizier that I took from the vizier, and then just hand it to you guys. I've already taken.
Are we all there?
You now
Yeah.
hand
I'm at the
this
door,
drow
so-
who has got
So-
this purple pelt on
Yes.
his
Catching up.
I've only taken 3 platinum out of it, and yeah. So then I hand it to Donash. Please distribute fairly between the rest of you.
As a victor of very high esteem of this great stair race, I shall.
As he turns around, Hyllenae, you're going to notice that I prestidigitated the word nerd on the back of his new little tote.
And I turn with a flourish.
I walk over to Donash and I go, Donash, as your friends, and I give you some advice. Hyllenae is not going to be impressed with those kinds of achievements. If you want to get somewhere with her, impress her with your kindness, your generosity,
The
your
wingman tables
honesty.
have turned.
I thought that she would enjoy my new cloak.
Perhaps she did. Fair enough. I'll give you that. Perhaps she did enjoy your new cloak.
It's all fun and games until someone falls in love, am I right?
Indeed, yes.
And then I do like a quick hot step. I walk away. We have money to distribute. Let's go.
Jingles, did you want Muggsy back?
You would give me him back.
Of course.
I would love him.
I go
Yes.
over to. I go
Come
over
here,
to him, but
Muggsy.
really,
Show them
I
what you
just-
learned.
I just need to give him a hug. So I gave him a hug, and then
Show Hyllenae what you learned.
He goes and starts stomping one foot at a weird rhythm,
And?
he goes the other way.
And? Hey, good boy!
Oh my god.
He starts to clap now too. I don't know what he's doing.
Well, I'm sure that'll come quite in handy.
You never know, Donash.
Glad
You
8
never
hours
know.
was spent well.
So Muggsy will move
Yeah.
over to where Jingles is and kind of put his hands up.
And then I set the dress right on top of Mike's. Because I thought that's what he learned.
Right, that's what it's for.
He grabs it.
Yeah, and I flip it open and I go, well, it looks like we have 97 platinum pieces to divvy out.
Trixie's gonna run up, grab a handful, and start putting them into piles of.
Okay, 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Jeez.
Or 4.
No,
Yeah.
just trust me, she's really good at this.
Right?
I've done this before.
And take a step back. I'll let you do your accounting.
I feel like, yeah, come on, math whiz.
How many do we all get?
24, and then there is basically a quarter left. So you can, the way I would say.
Fun. And when
Party
I
fun.
say party, I mean
Are you
party.
only taking, you don't want any more than, oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Party. Party
Knowing.
fun.
Well, okay. Very fun.
I think it's a good idea.
Knowing that there is a obvious victor here, also one who did die, I feel like I should take the quarter.
Well, there's one remainder left. Basically, you guys could all get 24 platinum,
Right.
and there's one left.
That's
I
what I'm
think we
talking
should
about.
give it to Hyllenae. She didn't take as much.
Are you here?
You guys are close by. I mean, Muggsy's
I've
still.
gone back into my room
I
already.
mean, we
Yeah,
can
but
give
the
it to her
door
later.
was
We know how
open
many
for the
she
most
took
part.
because of how many was left.
You guys were all there.
So we'll put it in a 1/5 pile.
Fair enough. Let it be. Only by my will. Just kidding. Just kidding.
And if you
This
guys
cloak has changed you.
Yeah, I know.
You get one purple cloak, and suddenly you're a king.
I feel a lot better that I'm not dead anymore.
We just have to get him
just
one of
have
those
to
like
let the
bubble
horns-
hats.
Yes.
So 240?
240 gold or
24
24
platinum.
platinum, and then there's a one remainder. Do you give it to Hyllenae then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hyllenae, then you can add one more to your pile there. Okay.
Very nice.
All right. Yeah, since I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary on our jaunt up the stairs, I have nothing else to do but sit
Gloat.
back and boast. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I will take it.
I actually am going to leave my room and just kind of go wander around the dwarven city a little bit.
Alrighty. All right, you do so. The rest of you, what are you doing?
Out of character. Hey, Adam. Remember we were running up those stairs and there was like rubble and weaponry and...
That's yes. There was like something big had happened that
Back
might
in
be
character.
of importance.
Jingles, what you up to?
You know, I did notice as we were racing up to the little slides, I noticed something weird. Did you see? Sorry, did you sense a whole bunch of rubble and what seemed like military equipment?
I only sensed the top of the stairs, but if you saw something, maybe it's time we go and check that out.
Yes, I believe that my intuition that I now possess is telling me that something of importance is in that area. Perhaps we should check it out.
Fantastic. You know what? Actually, while you do that, I have a bit of. I have actually something to do real quick. I'll leave you to it. I feel like you'd be better eyes than I.
Well,
I'd walk away towards.
not shady at all.
What was it? Blacksmith's name? Amenderes. I try to find him.
Okay, you do so. He's in his local usual spot.
And I walk over and I go, Amenderes, I feel like I've asked too much of you already.
He looks up from his desk. Oh, he's got a bunch of like monocles and just like added lenses and whatnot. It's an array. You can't really see his eyes through all of them, or feel his eyes really. And he's
Touch his eyeballs.
Yeah. He takes off this headset there and.
Actually, you might want to put that back on. I do have one more favor to ask of you.
Okay.
I have this, and I just the broken axe right on the table.
Oh. He goes to grab it. Oh, this was made by us.
It was on a troll, and for some reason, oh yeah, it was on a giant. I sneezed. It was on a giant, and last night as I was kind of just like looking over my equipment, it gave me a interesting vibe. Something about the crack. Cut right through it.
Well, that is strange, isn't it? He holds it up and there's a big, deep gash into it. No handle? Do you wish me to further research this, or what are you doing?
I would greatly appreciate it. If you can. If it's anything that you could possibly...
Do you mind if I try to repair it?
No. Since you went ahead and mentioned it, maybe if you wouldn't mind.
He himself has gotten and taken off the other various little equipment that he's got on and puts on his apron, leather apron, picks up his hammer that's on the table itself. I'll be right back, see what I can do. And he grabs some tongs off the shelf, sticks it into the forge. You can see it or you can feel the heat just emanating from this close by forge, and you can hear the other blacksmith banging on there and whatnot. And he grabs his piece and goes with the rhythm. Looks at it again, puts it back in, takes it back out. He stops for a moment. He puts it into the water. He walks over to you and... This crack, it was intentional. I cannot do anything about it.
Did he get the rust off?
The rust is off. There's if you can feel it if you're holding on to it. There's a new crisp edge to it, but the crack is still there. He couldn't fuse it together. He grabs some lumber from a nearby stock bin and grabs one and starts to kind of whittle it. Already immediately going into making a handle for it, and this will take a while out, just a moment. A few moments later, he's got a handle fitted and...
This will take a while. Here you go.
Moments later. So,
Yeah.
you know, speeding it up for time's
Sure.
sake. He's able to put it on and
I grab it and just kind of.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two-handed.
It's a one-handed axe, but it to you, you're unfamiliar with this weight, and it just feels awkward for you. It's heavy.
Sure.
I mean, you can wield it for sure, but
Absolutely.
it's just it's something that.
I look at him and I go, "Have any tips?"
The big one, the tall one that goes with you. Maybe she can wield that.
I was already planning that, but I mean, like tips on how to use it.
We're axe wielding race. Yeah, we know how to use it. Swing. He points to this giant wooden trunk that
I throw.
roll to attack.
Attack. Attack the
Attacking
tree.
his trunk.
Now, this is you have no proficiency in axe, so roll at disadvantage.
Can't be worse than that one. It most certainly can. That is a natural 2.
Why? And it gets lodged into a piece of wood, not the one he pointed to. It's part of the structure of the mezzanine that's above above where he's at there. You can hear workers kind of like look down at you and just go back to their work. And
I look at him and I go,
oi, lad. Perhaps you should not touch any more axes, you know.
it's got. I look at it and go, nice distance.
It's about 12 feet away from you.
I go and grab and I go,
Right.
thanks for the tip, Amentus. You've always been my favorite, and I just kind of like.
I worry about you, lad. Take
Why
it
not?
easy on
Yeah.
the mead, all right?
Fair enough. See you later. And I just walk away.
You can see him
Putting
take off
back
his
to-
gloves and put his headset back on and
Yeah.
start to mess with all the lenses and begin to examine out gems and such.
So I'm just gonna go ahead and fade out from here.
Cool.
Just figure out what's going on
The
with
rest of you.
her exploring. Or
Trixie wants to go to a pawn shop. If
Pawn
there's anything.
shop.
Or shop in general. I think something that has unique items.
So
as opposed to like a market.
the dwarves here, they have more tinkering facilities that they make things here.
Okay.
They kind of get them ready for trade elsewhere. So there's not really
So they don't have as much trade coming in, it's only trade going
well,
out.
it's more that they have exports. So they
Okay.
make things for themselves and for exporting. They don't necessarily have shops set up. Now you could barter with one or two of them, but there's no stalls necessarily.
That's okay, she'll just wander around then.
Okay.
Yeah.
You two are wandering around. The rest of you.
I'm just hanging out because I thought we were gonna go home now,
Uh-huh.
so I'm just waiting for everybody to get back.
Hey, do you guys want to go on an adventure? Because there was something like up near the front when Don Ash and I were running in
Yes,
that
we
actually
may.
looked kind of interesting.
Yeah, I'll come with you.
Like, yeah, I think that could be kind of cool. Trixie, are you around?
Yeah, sure. I
Well,
mean,
you,
if I'm
you
around,
haven't
but-
yet.
I was gonna say, I wasn't sure if you were
You're
out.
walking around
I
now,
was
so
Shopping.
you two can go ahead and make your perceptions check, and then you two will make them for something else. So,
10.
Got
Oh.
I'm not
13.
with them, by the way. I'm just kind of
13.
13. This is still out of your vision.
sure.
16.
16.
6.
6. All right. You two make your way back to where the entrance is there, and you kind of notice that there's a large number of dwarves kind of just holding their spears and their shields, and they're noticing you look in their direction. So they're all 20 of them have their focus on you. You see all these ballistas set up, pointing at this crumbled entrance, and there's nothing really else you can tell besides the fact that this was at some point an entrance to some other part of this kingdom, but it has been crumbled, and there are many ballistas now pointed at this thing. There are 2 trebuchets even on the far back, and
It looks a little ominous. Don't you?
you two notice that there are, the hustle bustle of the regular day life of these dwarves. You hear the tinkering of the hammers. You hear the forges going off in the distance, and you're able to see these two make their way over to this one area and just kind of pause and hold there for a while. And then you see them take a look, and you can now see there are these ballistas before you, all pointed in one direction, not at the entrance from where you came initially, but at this the rubble various stone pillars, and other forms of architecture just crumbled on top of each other.
Put my hand on my hip and kind of like pop
When you
out.
dip.
Yeah.
My neck, my back. I'm sorry.
And I'll ask one of the dwarves. Hello.
Hi.
What's all this about with the pew pew?
You shouldn't ask, but I wouldn't go near it. At least don't go into it.
Why? Did I hear this?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right there. Yeah. He looks at you and he just kind of like shushes you and goes back to his guard post.
Well, is it dangerous to go in there?
Yes. He moves his attention back towards, the front there.
Jingles is going to lean forward and do the trick that he's seen Trixie do a million times. You know, you boys must be awfully brave, willing to stand out here.
Performance against his resolve.
By the way, are we close enough to?
You guys can make your wander your way. You're now.
That's
you made your way
that's
close to
a 9
Hyllenae, and
plus
you're
a 6. I think.
making.
Say 15.
You join up with Trixie, and you're now making your way towards those two. 16?
15.
15 against his 8.
Yes. He is weak.
His eye level is really close to your your mid chest, and he just kind of look. I'm not supposed to tell you anything about this, but
Of course not.
please don't. It was many years ago where we had to block this entrance because, well, we dug too deep.
Too deep.
Too deep.
Who was inside?
Evil. A great evil.
Like creatures?
Big
So,
creatures.
why don't they come out?
Well, we caved it in quite a bit of a ways down. There's no way down other than that entrance.
You guys always stay out here, or are you out here because?
Just in case. We hear a rumble.
Have you heard any rumbles?
Not for 200 years.
Well, that's a good sign.
It's a long time to be stationed.
I slowly kind of walk up, and as I hear this conversation, I go, "How deep?"
Very deep.
What did you say?
I didn't see anything.
What were the stories that came back from those who dug down there?
Well, and he pulls out a little journal that he kind of just, this is not mine, but he kind of flips through the pages and shows you a picture. Yeah, I know you can't. No, but you can get the general shape of this thing. It's
I'll
large.
describe it.
It seems to have been drawn with flames.
It was drawn with flames.
Any kind of recognition on my part?
It's large.
Nothing from the Underdark. This thing seems a lot larger compared to the structure around that is drawn around it. It's big.
And I look back to the rest of the group. and go,
Closes it up.
It's nothing that is familiar to me. That doesn't put my mind at ease.
Doesn't look like something I would want to.
Neither
encounter.
does to me, lad, but that's why we stand vigil, hoping nothing breaks through. Again, for 200 years we have yet to hear anything, but we always want to be ready.
What does the king plan to do with this?
I
Just
don't know.
hope the cave-in stays.
Basically, yes.
Well, it has stayed for 200 years, so
That's not bad.
yeah, it's not. They're doing a pretty decent job. You know, I think you guys are mighty brave staying out here. You're doing a
He
good job,
looks
soldier.
over to his right and he goes, I have to.
Oh, right.
And you can see one of you feel his superiors looking at him, and he's kind of wandering over to you guys. I've spoken too much. Say nothing. And he kind of goes back into his regular pose. And this new guy comes over. And, what are ye about?
Oh,
Well, we were trying
yeah.
to ask him about this, but he won't tell us anything.
Yeah,
Do
he's
you
very
guys- can
stoic.
you give us
I don't
any
know, we couldn't get a
information
word out of
about-
He looks at him.
Oh man. Oh my god.
No. Haven't you finished your business here?
Yes, that's what I was
Yeah,
just
as a matter
saying.
of
I was
fact, yeah.
thinking we should go home now, guys.
Yeah, and we saw this
Yeah.
party, and we thought we'd
He
find out.
doesn't
what
even
it's like.
acknowledge you. He just kind of goes back to his post.
It's okay.
The guy the guard you were talking to was, you should leave. Oh, okay.
Yes, good job. See, we got you.
No. And this is just the party, not away from that guy.
Sure.
Everyone else saw the cabinet of trinkets and relics, it looked like, in the king's possession, correct? We gave him the necklace? Surely he's got some kind of bauble that will help ward off whatever this is.
What
I can't-
about the amulet that we gave him yesterday?
Exactly, we should bring his attention. Does he, I don't even know if he knows exactly what came up.
Well, it sounds.
In this, it's been like this for 200
yeah.
years.
So
I don't-
nothing
this
has
isn't a new
changed. That
thing.
was what I wanted to ask. Is nothing has changed. They haven't like heard or felt anything different. They're basically like just in case, and we just missed them the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
they've been
and
there from the start.
Us poking around might get everybody killed, like including every dwarf.
It could wake
in this city.
something up that has been asleep for a long time
So
and would otherwise
maybe
continue to.
let's
I
just
have
exit.
no desire to go any deeper than we already
Yep.
have. I was just
I'm
wanting to
with
see
you.
what you guys
Let's
thought.
go
Yes,
back
we
to
go
the-
home.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Or not home, but wherever we
Yeah.
want to go to.
All right.
Where do we stay?
It is with the day's activities that you've already had is probably about 11 o'clock. So, judging as you guys make your way over to the entranceway of the Dwarven Kingdom, you notice that a lot of the horses are already been used for the day, and you can see the last horse being mounted up right now by a dwarf, and he's riding off into the sunset. There are no more horses there ready or waiting for you. Now, this means that you could either walk or use other modes of transportation if you can muster anything up from
Can
your spells.
hitchhike. I can probably get a ride pretty easy right now.
We got cash too.
That's true. We
Are
do
we,
have cash.
hold on a minute.
How
Hold
long
on a
would it
minute.
take
Out
to
of
walk?
character, real quick. Are we sure we want to leave before we mention like to put whatever that was into like the treaty from the dwarves to the goblins? Let them know that there's this thing that they probably should worry about too.
No. Well, I don't think that we should.
We don't want to at all.
I don't think that's our business.
Yeah,
don't think
I
it's
think that
And I
that's.
think that it's not a threat to the goblins, at least not unless they get through the dwarves
It's
first.
yeah.
They seem to be doing a pretty good job.
It's a long distance to get from the dwarves to the goblins. I
We
feel
want to
like
find out what this thing might be. All right. I'm
Is
just.
there a library in the Dwarven King?
I don't think it's a job we've been hired to do.
Yeah.
and
I'll
I don't-
also say this reminds me of our encounter with the Lich. If shit does pop out of that wall,
Oh, man, but I'm telling you.
I know, but survival. Survival.
What does that even mean anymore?
That's true. I already lost on Ash once.
They can
Um,
always call us. We're just
but-
like but a short day's ride away.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is I feel like they haven't seen anything. We can come back and check and make sure, because if they start to ever feel anything, then we can tell the goblins and we can be like, hey, so there might be some shit coming, just be aware.
Well, what would you do? Would you go back to the goblins and tell them? Like, would you
Yeah.
make that journey again to the goblins just to say there's a creature in the underground that has not been?
No,
doing
I would
anything
prefer to go
between
back to the
you
king and just make it known that if they're going to be upfront about everything, then they should be upfront about everything. And perhaps maybe they could already, since they have a peace treaty, might be able to offer some kind of question or like ask them like, hey, you guys have magic, maybe
I have an
you can save
idea.
us a little more.
If we want to go see the king one more time.
Do you say that in character?
Yeah.
I don't think we should poke a slumbering bear. I think it's a bad idea.
This isn't about like going down and
Right. Explore.
I'm not advocating that we go in the cavern,
Neither am I.
You just wanna
but
talk.
I just want to give the king some assurance that if something does happen, that there will be help.
From
Well,
who?
why don't you guys go
From
to the
us?
king, and we'll
We'll get
some
ourselves
horses
some horses
together.
and
I have two of these. I have two pendants. If he sees this, if I give this to him, then he has the protection of my father.
Why would you?
What does that do?
My father is the head magistrate of the main temple on Praetos of the Hyllenae. And our mission, if you will, is to protect civilization, all civilizations. So all he need do is call on the Hyllenae and they will come help. It doesn't have to be me or us.
Everybody has a pretty great treasure to give away, but
That
that's
does
your
sound-
treasure to give away.
I agree.
That sounds valuable.
Sounds
I mean, worthwhile. Very powerful.
We're
But
probably
as-
going to meet a lot of people in need
Yeah.
on our
As-
travels, but it's yours to give
If
as you
this sounds like what it sounds like it might be, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to need help.
will. Yes, but it hasn't woken in 200 years, so
That doesn't mean it won't ever
sure.
awake.
But you don't know when. You can.
Yeah. I think
I can't.
It's yours.
in this, I think that this is your father's gift to give, and I think that you can give it to whoever you wish. But I will also say that I know you said you have two, right?
One
You
is
wear
mine.
two. One is
yes.
yours. Be wary of who is the most in need, and that is the only advice that I might give.
Understood. I'm just thinking of the range of destruction that could occur should this thing wake up.
Well, okay,
Fair
so
enough.
what do you think it is? You obviously have a specific idea of what it is.
I was there to out of character. I was there to see the picture that he showed Don Ash, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would Hyllenae know what that
Make-
creature is?
A religion check.
Okay.
Oh, fuck, it's religious.
Yeah, I have.
His intelligence. So that would be 16.
It's
16.
not Jingle's realm of
You have heard of
expertise.
these creatures living in the deep dark. Pretty much where Dawn Ash has been most of his early life. You know that there are demons down there. You know that there are creatures large and small, evil. I'm not entirely sure exactly what the picture was drawn. It was hastily drawn.
Mhm.
But it seemed to be wreathed in flame, and that's all that you can gather.
I have a good idea of what it is, and if you want to know, I will explain it at a later time. But what I know of these creatures is the destruction that they will reap upon this entire land, including Quintessa, not just the Dwarven Kingdom. It will spread once they come out. They will destroy everything they can get their hands on.
Make sure you
So-
tell the king if you give this to him.
If he knows what it is, I am sure he knows, but I will reiterate that fact.
Mhm.
That if there's any rumbling whatsoever, that he can call on the Hyllenae to help.
And if the king falls,
Then Athena help us all. Alright, so I make my way to the king.
yeah,
With
we'll
that.
saddle up the horses.
Trixie's gonna work on the travel.
All right. I'm gonna have you guys all at the same area.
Before we leave, Trixie, I'm gonna go ahead and head with Hyllenae. I'm also curious about what this is. You still have those scrolls that we gave you, right?
Ooh, good idea.
Might we have one?
The range is 150 feet.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Way too far.
The stairs alone wouldn't even. Yeah.
We made it halfway up the stairs.
I look at her and I
And
go.
now you can't. Now we can't use these for another day.
I look at her and I go. Glad you still have them. And I just walk away with
Okay.
Hyllenae.
All right. So you two make your way back into the kingdom's main hold there, and you guys make your way to the hall. You don't see the king immediately. The guards are a little more tense now. They saw you away, and now you're back. One of the guards will get up and make his way over and on the two large double doors. A moment, 2 moments, and then one of them opens up. the vizier pokes his head out. And you can hear the guard and the vizier talk for a moment. Indiscernible to you. You can't really... Inaudible. And the guard makes his way back over to you and... What is this about?
I have one parting gift for the king before we leave.
May I see this gift you speak of? Right away, my lady. And he walks back in. Tells the vizier goes...
As she goes away, I look at her and I go, I thought we were just asking what it was. You're actually going to give it to him.
I was of no help in the goblin city, so this is the least I can do.
Well, I trust you. Your wisdom I always have. Got your back.
The king walks out of the double doors. You can see him putting on his robes again, once more, and holding his new staff that you haven't seen before. Oh,
I kneel.
did not expect to see you once again. Rise, please.
I will make this brief, Your Highness, and I take off my father's pendant and hand it to him. Don't ask me how I know, but whatever it is that lies beneath this kingdom, I know what it is, and if you ever need the Athenae's assistance, please do not hesitate to contact my father.
He holds it up. A pendant from Praetos, from the Athenae itself. This is truly a gift to give. I have always known the Athenae to be a very special people. I'm glad that I can solidify that thought. He's actually going to put it around his very neck. And you can see already he's got the amulet there, the jade amulet the goblins gave you. He puts that also with there.
He's like Mr. T.
Yeah, he's got his
He already has a fair assortment of jewelry all over him anyway. So yeah, it's adding to this weight, but it seems like it's almost a burden for him to wear, his cross to bear, so to speak. So
I speak up then and I go, you know, we did just proffer a peace between you and the goblins, and I feel like it's only right, before you send those guards up there, to protecting them from something else that they know about, you should also make notice, or make the words come out of my mouth correctly.
that will be up to us.
Do you know what's down there? I've never seen Hyllenae this worked up, and that's why I've come. She seems of grave importance of whatever's down there.
We have lived in our kingdom for centuries. The 200 years that we have yet to see this foul creature come back up. It seems to not want to head to this level anyway. It's not fear, but it's something else. I don't think we need to worry too much.
It's biding its time.
What happened the last time it came out? It
didn't.
Snooped around?
It didn't come up here. It was down in our lower levels. We had another city below this one, equal in size.
Ooh.
Taken in less than a day. We couldn't do anything to defend ourselves from this foul demon.
And their survivors.
None.
And you do realize what you hold around your neck might be your last chance.
He goes and clutches the newly adorned pendant of the Hyllenae. I do.
Cannot put importance on a cave-in for this long. I do not wish anything ill or any kind of omen, of course. I hope that you have another many, many century of peace. But you cannot hope that a cave-in will stop whatever wrecked a city in a day, forever. You must take precaution. Maybe letting the goblins know of what's going on, they might be able to help you. They did have magic that healed what looked like to
His
be...
hand goes up. Leave that to us.
I
young
bow
master.
again.
As well as I do.
At the first sign of anything, please do not hesitate to contact the Athenae.
Hyllenae of the Hyllenae, and Donash
Just on Ash.
of the Forsaken.
Just on Ash.
Donash. I bid you adieu. And he goes and bows.
And I bow when I leave.
He turns around and heads back through the double doors. The vizier is still there and kind of just like is doing the
Ushers us
ushering
out.
you out.
And as we are on our way back, Donash, can I tell you something?
Absolutely.
And I would ask that you not share this with anyone.
Absolutely.
When I was in Calenduin, where I grew up with my mother, I tried to be a healer. I tried to learn what she knew, and I was completely inept. And so when my father sent for me to Praetos, I wasn't supposed to be a paladin. I was supposed to go and be a priestess, and I was not adept at that either. What happened with the goblins, I almost got us enslaved. And I'm supposed to take my oath soon. And I fear that I'm not going to be adept at being a paladin either.
Hyllenae, I can speak so boldly out of the entire party. You've done the most, if not solely been on the side of good, trying to stop whatever havoc and keep whatever peace that there might be. I don't think anyone else was thinking about any kind of peace treaty with the goblins. It was you who made that plan. You alone. You should take pride in that. Your mind is good.
Thank you.
So we always have our backs as well. And actually, speaking about having our backs, I know you carry that sword around and it seems like it's quite important to you. Something you don't want to get bloodied too often. I pull out the axe and I go, on that troll, on the giant back there.
The troll giant.
Whatever it was, on that giant back there, I did go through its pockets and found something of interest.
This.
I made a wooden sculpture of it. I'm not
It
sure
was
what it
so
was.
ugly, I had to remember it.
I took from without it a couple of items, and this was one of them. And from what our fair blacksmith friend could tell, it seemed that there was some kind of magical property about it. I'm not moral enough to wield it. I feel that only one as yourself could.
I take it from Donash and I just look at it and thank you.
It is a dwarven make axe. There is a large crack in the middle of it. It doesn't seem to do it any kind of harm. It's almost like it's there on purpose.
The blacksmith tried to fix it, and there was no mending that crack, and from my night with it, it seemed interesting.
It feels interesting. Thank you, Donash.
Thank you for opening up. I feel like you have nothing to worry about, though. Truly.
Thank you.
Let's head back.
Alright.
All right. One of the 5 dwarves that met you in the tavern, Denise actually, is being seen kind of wandering around, and she sees you two making your way back to the entrance. And she goes, "Oh, hello there, thank you. I heard what you did. That's amazing. You're heading out now then?"
Unfortunately.
Back to Quintessa. We will see you again there, though, won't we?
Oh, we'll make our way back. Yeah, we like it there. It's nice. It's a nice, well, from all of this, it's a nice break.
There's more music over there, so if I'm to remember correctly.
There's more flute.
A bit of information to you. If you wish to walk back, you don't want to head back the way we came. That was a trade route. That was where the supplies were.
And the bridge of...
And the bridge.
There.
Yes. You don't really want to head back there. Anyway, so just take the main road. It goes straight out from the doors. You really can't miss it. It's our heaviest traveled. So, well, she wants to hold.
And I just
Her arms.
immediately just
Yeah,
go
right.
for it. Yeah.
And then
She
I
gives you
come
the-
and hug both.
Both, yeah. And it's a strong squeeze. And,
And I
she
feel
goes,
cozy.
she
After death, this feels like the best thing I've
she
felt.
goes to feel the new pelt on your body there. She goes, bye, and she turns around and heads back to her station. You guys make your way up the
And
stairs.
she looks. She goes. I go, niece, catch. And I throw her the displacer beast eye.
The eye.
Yeah.
She.
I have no idea.
You even threw it at her.
No. I know I threw it at her, but I'm like Mean Joe. Like, she seemed like a fan. You're welcome.
She puts it in her pouch. She just, okay. And she just, you see her run off. You just make your way back
I
up
like
the long cascade of stairs, and you make it to the rest of your party there. And you have tried to negotiate a deal with anyone there. There are no horses there. The guard there is, I'm truly sorry.
Donkeys?
Pack mules, no, they're being used currently.
Can we use a cart and then Mugsy can just push us back?
There is a two-wheeled cart that you can see that has a few supplies there, and he looks at it and goes, you know what, sure. He looks down and
It's a rickshaw.
this is,
That's his name.
he looks at
Rick.
Mugsy and all right, so he takes off all the crates and whatnot, and he hands you the card. He goes, yeah, take it, it's yours.
Really?
Yeah, just get out of here. He heads back to his post and stands again, Stoic. Once again, you guys come up and are now greeted with a new cart, and Mugsy has already been holding on to one of the two posts that come off of this cart, and there's one that is still just there.
Is there like a piece of wood lying around, like a piece of sturdy wood, like a single plank of wood?
There are, yeah.
Can I grab one of those, and can I
Sure.
see, and I'm not sure if this works, can I see if I can possibly like break the ends off so that I can attempt to mend it to the existing little...
Make an intelligence check.
Okay, because I'm not sure if I can do that. Oh, it's 10.
That's enough to tell that you can, in your mending abilities, mending a broken board that has been broken on the sides would bring it back to its original dimension.
Okay.
It wouldn't necessarily fuse it.
to
Much
something.
like Jaren of the Jade Desert would try to
Make
mend the umbrellas, it didn't really have the same effect. And now
Okay.
you are more potent spellcaster, but it still seems like you might actually ruin something. So
The
what you
spell
think
is
you
the
can
spell,
do
yeah.
is place it onto the runners there, and maybe do something with rope
Yeah,
on the
because
edges.
I think we've got rope. We've
I
got
feel
cord.
like the dwarves have a lot of hammers, and I'm assuming they probably have some nails.
Absolutely.
I mean, but that
It's boring.
involves a lot of that's a lot of lifting and
I'll do
hammering.
it. I'll do it. It'll take me 10 minutes.
Okay.
Really?
Sure.
Not even.
Just make a regular d20 roll with either strength or
Use the
dexterity.
dagger.
Oh, which one?
There.
Yeah.
Strength or dexterity?
Just stab through the two pieces of wood.
18.
18. All right.
It freezes.
Yeah, with no issue, she's able to grab one of the dwarven hammers and just clunk, takes the whole nail, just boom, right inside, and then boom, the other side too, and it's pretty sturdy there.
Eagle's face.
Wow.
The little Mudgy will actually move towards the center now, knowing what you have done, and just kind of like start to move slowly.
Good boy, Mugsy. You're good.
Thanks, Jingle.
Should see her full of a tavern of angry drunk people. That's
Oh.
what this is quite a picture.
That you can see.
Right.
All right, so you guys
All right, yeah.
hop onto the
Hop
cart,
on in.
and the little Mudgy is actually a little bit lighter now on his feet. He's pulling the cart, not so much hauling or having this a lot of weight lifted onto his shoulders. So you're moving about, I would say, maybe 10 feet per 6 seconds or so. So it's still slow going, but you're able to
We're
move now.
making
So
progress.
we
And
ran
I'll-
into Denise on the way out, and she said to take the main road and not the way we came in.
Okay.
I don't know
Which-
if you recall that giant fuzzy thing
Yeah,
that was
I
kind of
don't.
climbing
So
over.
Mudgy is moving along this road currently, and you see it branch off to where you guys had entered from, a good maybe a mile away from the entrance, and that's, you can tell Mudgy's already the little Mudgy is already making its way on the main track. So you have yet to break off to the other one where the bridge was, where the supply depot was.
And you're sure that she said that this road leads back to Contessa?
Yes, it's
Quintessa?
the main road, not their secret trade road. That was what we took.
Well, in that case, let's take the direct route. I've got no problem with that.
All right.
Do you, Muggsy? I didn't think so.
It doesn't even turn back towards you. So you guys make your way over this long and winding road as the night eventually catches up to you. You can see the large planet above you,
Can
giving
I
a
send
little
out?
weird. Yeah.
Can I send out the fireflies
Absolutely.
also around us? Just
Yep.
okay, keeping them close.
The four of you make perception checks as the night wanes on, and you guys are nearing the middle of the night now.
Modified 20.
15.
16.
20. You notice off to the far off distance now. Now, again, you're deep into the night. You see glowing lights, much like the ones that Jingles has out. Stop and then appear again later. They look like maybe it could be a firefly, just off maybe 50 feet off the main road. You see it ahead of you. And then as the little Mudgy is starting to move the cart towards that area, you notice a little sign pointing off in that direction. A poorly now overgrown road where all the grasses have stopped. The main stopped right at the main road there, and it says Roadside Tavern. Poorly written. Like it was carved into the wood, but you can hardly see it anymore.
You guys want to take a break for the night?
Yeah.
At this classy joint?
At this classy joint.
I love this kind of place. It's my kind of
Oh,
place.
What's
sense of adventure.
Oh, is it?
I feel like this is the beginning of a horror film.
Yeah.
No, that's okay.
Is there a tavern?
I'm alive.
There's
Go
a
for a
tavern.
drink.
It's
Go for a drink?
yeah, the name is carved into a sign on the side of the road, so you know it's legit.
Yeah.
As many signs are. What do you mean? What is...
You can now see the sign on the side of the road. You can, with your sense, and you can see the little letters imprinted into the wood, point off into the far off forest there.
I kind of look down the road. Is this place? Are we sure this place is still open?
Trixie?
I think so. I think it's worth checking. Otherwise, we're going to be on the road all night, or we're going to have to camp on the side of the road. It can't be worse than that.
We could do a hot meal.
Well, that's debatable.
It
We've
should-
been to some places,
it shouldn't
Trixie.
be worse than that.
Oh,
I would take a bed over the ground.
I would say let's check
Well,
it out.
we'll give it a try.
Okay.
You
Feel
guys turn. You
just
guys
killed
kind of
a
like
giant. I feel like we can probably take a seedy tavern owner.
you like tap
This is true.
the little Mudgy over, and he kind of gets the hint that you guys are moving. It's their way now.
I love that he squeaks.
Now the cart is starting to kind of like jostle a little bit now because the road is not so paved anymore. It hasn't been worn as much. You guys get to the tavern now, and it's all the lights are off. You can see the little glowing flies,
And
the
they are
glow
little
flies, yeah,
fireflies.
and they kind of appear and then stop. You can just barely see them kind of flying around. No sounds in this tavern, but it is a tavern that you guys can sleep for the night.
Very quiet. We could fix that.
I say let's take a break for the night.
Agreed.
I'm gonna be
And
sleeping really
lock-
close to my sword.
Yeah.
Lock the doors.
And what are we gonna do about the cart? We haven't
That's
unloaded any
right.
stuff into the cart, right? Everybody's carrying their stuff.
For the
Yeah.
most part, it seems like, yeah.
Okay, all right. In that case, let's do that.
Whoa, hold on a minute. Jingles. Your voice is back.
Sorry. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But no! Damn it!
Angry things, aren't they?
I see why you use them.
Well done, by the way.
Do you still have the
I've noticed you
rock?
paid attention.
I do still have the rock.
It was in your cleavage.
It's probably I have a really tight sash around.
You
so
would
it's
have felt it
probably
kind of like,
jiggling
yeah.
around
It just
and-
fell into his pants.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like in my belly button right now. I'll go fish it out. Yeah.
It's decently large too. You would know that it would have fallen at some point.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I.
Okay.
Should we go and investigate this tavern
I think
before
we should.
like leave the cart?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my personal preference, I feel like we should do at least a little just, carousing around, see what this place is all about.
It's probably just dull. I'm sure we'll be fine.
I'm gonna fireflies all up, and I'm gonna coalesce the fireflies into their single light.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna put it right up in. Is there a window near?
There are
the
several
front?
windows, yeah.
I'd like to put it in a window and look in.
All right. You see no candlelight, nothing visible there. You see various, there's a bookshelf, there's a table, there's a few stools near the bar. There appear to be bottles on the shelf, not a whole lot of them. It's a tavern that was abandoned at some point. Maybe they were getting a lot of visitors and they just had to shut down.
Okay. It doesn't look like signs of a struggle or anything like that. It looks just old and.
You can see like one or two of the windows actually is boarded up because the windows have kind of broken and they didn't want a whole lot of stuff to get in, and doesn't seem to be anything moving inside. There's no
That's all I care about. Okay.
like various small little tiny particles, kind of like dust, from what you can see shining off through your coalesced little ball there.
Trixie, would you like to do the honors?
Check for traps. Sure. I'll
All
check
right,
for traps.
sure, go ahead.
And also unlock the door.
Yeah. So
That's more what I was going for, but
Sorry, it
please.
keeps landing where it's not on.
keeps landing on a
That is,
one.
that is
Ooh.
really
Still
funny.
there.
I
Are we
think
gonna
that's a
count that
10.
as 10? Okay.
I think that's a 10.
14.
14. It's not locked. There are no traps that you can see.
Okay, then I'll go on it.
God, you were so good at that.
She moves the door and it has a little bit of a
Can
squeak.
you get it in that corner?
I don't know.
You walk in.
What do I see?
Okay, so you see the same thing that he saw earlier.
Just
You s-
empty.
just a
bottle.
empty tavern. It doesn't look like there was any kind of struggle. The chairs are still standing upright. There appear to be a few bottles still with liquor left on the shelves. Nothing really else there, but small amounts of it.
Sconces, wall sconces.
There are wall sconces. The actual torch itself has been taken out, so everything is.
Oh, okay.
It's not rotting away, but you can tell that the things of most value have been now taken. So,
And I walk
Trixie's
up.
gonna run up and find the best room.
all right.
That's-
She makes her way over to the stairs, and she's already up.
I start walking in. I go, well, quite hungry. I know that things in the larder might not keep, but one thing that always keeps is a nice pint of ale. Shall we check?
You go check on that first. I'm gonna go check on, hey, before I forget, Muggsy, you come with me.
Okay, so you kind of
Stay close.
I'll have a pint of ale.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So I start rummaging through and see if I can find anything.
All right. Cool. Make an investigation check. So where are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go upstairs and make sure, because Trixie just ran straight up the stairs. I want to
Alright.
make sure she didn't run
Okay.
into anything.
I want to kind of like check the place out.
All right. You go ahead and make your investigation
Upstairs.
check.
19.
Yeah.
19. So you're able to find a few, one broken cask, but it still has the liquid inside of it. So you're able to. There's a bunch of glasses everywhere. You can still pour some out there.
Broken, like as in it would probably be laying there stagnant.
Probably.
Never mind.
All right. There are a few bottles though, like a harder liquor
Oh, perfect.
up on
I'll do
the
that.
shelf. Very very small amounts, but still able to for a shot or two.
Sure. And I grab a couple of those off and I start just kind of.
18.
18.
Double fisted.
As you're walking around, you're noticing that the tables and chairs are still kind of in there. A few plates are still left out. There's a fork kind of stabbed into one of the tables, and you're walking around and you notice a bookshelf. The books are still there.
Interesting. I will look at the books.
It lunges out at you.
Oh!
And that's where we'll end tonight's episode.
Damn it!
We should check.
Son of a bitch.
All right.
Damn mimics! God, just kill every time you go.
I was like,
into town.
"Gotcha."
Kill everything.
I'm gonna have nightmares about this tavern tonight.
Now I can't read anymore.
Yeah.
Tavern.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Yeah, we do it for
Yeah.
you.
And thank you to Ramblin' Dragon
Yes.
for the win.
That's right.
You
Oh, sure,
hopefully
I'm
we got
still
your information,
stealing your
so
inventory.
we'll have I'll have her send me the info and whatnot. So thank you again for watching, guys. We're gonna be here next week, 5:30 p.m. Pacific, same bad time, same bad channel at the tavern.
Come back to see the mimic.
And tell your friends.
Tell your friends, please share. Yeah, well, you can't subscribe, so follow us and then share on Twitter and reblog and do all the social media stuff. Next week I'll have a new dice up for giveaway, so stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss it. Thank you guys and have a good night.